Hey guys, if you want to keep up with the Melon Party and everything we're doing, you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram under the Melon Party name.
Or you can reach us on the Melon Party hotline, 317-520-3168. Or shoot us over an email at themelonpartypod@gmail.com.
Now, let's party.
Yo, I was in the shower. Call me back.
What's up, guys? I'm Josh.
I'm Jared.
And as always, we are joined by our Wizard of the Oz, man behind the curtain, BJ.
What up, BJ?
And he is also now a stand-up comedian performing at theaters.
Big theater.
Yeah,
Packing
BJ.
houses. Congratulations.
That's pretty
great.
awesome. Tell us about how'd that come about?
So I was at, it was a Friday. I was at work. I got a call from Aaron Harden from 812 Farms out of Brown County. He always books me for Story Inn, and he said, "Hey, are you busy tonight?" And I was like, "What do you need?" And he's like, "I need a host for Willie Griswold and Pat Godwin." And I was like, "Yeah, I can host." So it was in Shelbyville at the Stewart Theater in Shelbyville, and then I go over there and I walk in. And I'm like, I think his name is Dave, and I was like, "Hey, I'm BJ." And he's like, "Oh, you're the opener." And I was like, "Well, I'm the host." He's like, "Well, we call the host the opener." And I was like, "Well, that's fine."
Yeah.
And Pat Godwin walks out and was like, "Oh, thanks for coming last minute." For those who don't know, Pat Godwin's a regular he's on the Bob and Tom show every morning.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And he's like, "Hey, I need you to do 20 minutes."
Okay.
And I was like, I thought I was hosting. He's like, "No, it's just you and I." And at that moment in time, me being me, I was like, "Yeah, I got you, not a problem."
Okay, sure, yes. Internally screaming.
I found the maintenance guy, I believe, and I said, "Is there a place to smoke?" And
Crack.
we went out back and smoked cigarettes, and I rewrote everything. So normally I host, or I've done 15 minutes, no problem.
Sure.
But I'm usually on shows with Terry Shepard, Nate Robinson, who's my co-host on Fresh and Clean, people I know, or we're putting on the show ourselves.
Right.
This is for somebody that we grew up listening to.
Right.
So I'm trying to redo my whole set.
Yeah.
And I'm by myself. I called Steph, I called AP, I called another one of my best friends and stuff like that. Nobody can go with me.
Yeah.
So I'm there by myself. And the guy named Dave said, "Hey, we start right at 8. I'm gonna do 2 minutes 40 seconds and bring you up, and then do 20 minutes and we'll move on." So I met Pat, I met his girlfriend, his son, saw their people, and I met the Bob and Tom show band tuner that takes care of the guitars and stuff. Really nice guy.
Cool.
Heard some behind the scenes Bob and Tom stuff that was pretty funny.
I bet.
Oh, I bet there's tons of stories.
Yeah, but I spent most of the time by myself trying to get my set together.
Of course.
Right? And I had it on my phone. I went out there, and I've never done theater. The lights are in my eyes. I can't see the people.
Yeah.
And then,
That's probably helpful, though, I bet.
yeah. And right away, I start out with something about, "Sorry, I'm out of breath. I hate stairs." And then I went into, I was just like, I realized at 44, I'm built like a now expecting sign at Target, and I turn to the side. And I just go from there. But I'm looking at my phone, because I'm trying to it goes very, very well. And some lady in the audience, because I always make fun of being fat, right?
Sure.
And old. And some lady yelled, like, "You're sexy." And I was just like, "I can't see you, so
Thank you.
I don't know if I should
guess.
accept that or not."
Yeah. Maybe find
Yeah.
me after the show, and I'll
And,
thank you or tell you to go away.
So it goes well. I get off stage, and then Pat Godwin goes up and does his thing. And then I got it was $100 for 20 minutes worth of work. So I did
Awesome.
19 minutes 36 seconds and got done. Pat said thank you. And then when I was walking to my car, there was a group of 10 people over there. And they're like, "Hey, you're very funny." And I said, "Thank you very much." And then they were like, started asking me questions. And I went over there, and then they were just like asking me questions, and then
Awesome.
and I was just like, "I don't like this part."
Yeah.
Right?
Please go away.
I just want to go to my car.
Yeah.
And I got a text the next morning from the guy who runs theater. "Hey, thank you so much. You're very funny. Can't wait to have you back.
Great.
That's awesome, man. That's and
Congratulations.
for people who don't follow or know a whole lot about stand-up comedy. That's not easy to do.
Sure.
And it takes a lot of confidence in yourself, but also a lot of guts to be able to because there's a lot of
5 minutes is hard.
right, but
20
there's-
minutes is an eternity.
there's not many stand-ups like successful. I mean, the stand-up comedians where you can last second be like, "Hey, I need you to do 20 minutes," and they'll be like, "All right." Those guys have been in comedy for 30 years. Or
Yeah.
so. Those are your Bill Burrs.
Sure.
those are
They
your
got years of material to get draw on.
Yeah, those are your Chappelles, and
Right.
like those are the good. So like what BJ did was really awesome. I'm really
sick.
proud of you, man.
yeah.
I'm really happy for you. That's
It-
awesome.
It was awesome. I've been doing it. That was my first 20 minutes. I've done 15 twice. Now, I will tell you this, and we can move on. So that night, Shelbyville, Pat Godwin, professional show. Boom, boom, boom. Next night, I work with my best friend, Nate Robinson, comedian. Check him out at Neat Skate Comedy. He booked me on a show with Muncie. I took him and Brian Petrie, another funny comedian. We went to Muncie, and then I did what's called a black room.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right?
those are tough.
Show started an hour late. No AC.
Yeah.
PA system wasn't working the best, and I was the only white guy on the show
Sure.
because the guy named Chris who ran the show in Muncie, great guy. He's like, I need a white guy and I need a female.
Yeah.
So
You were the token white
I was-
guy.
You were the DEI comic.
and then I just went up there and I didn't really even do a whole lot of material. I was just it was really interesting to go from like.
Bright
Yeah.
lights, big city.
Because I did the whole 20 minutes clean, no
yeah.
cursing.
Well,
Sure.
and a
And then
black.
the next night, oh yeah, I just
Yeah,
Yeah,
dropping
no.
it up.
I mean, a black room, you've got 30 seconds to
Yeah.
impress them, or you're done.
They
And
will
it doesn't matter the
kill
color of your
you,
skin.
dude.
Like the black comedy world is tough, but it's also that's another great test for you and your ability. That's what
Absolutely.
comedians do. Is you guys put yourself. So you did
Tough
back to
positions.
back nights of testing yourself and your ability.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's. I mean, I remember you sending me that text that night, and I could see in your text that you were dopamine high as
Oh,
shit.
it was
like you,
great.
because you're usually not like it's one.
No.
It's like you and I can text one words back and
Yeah.
forth to each other.
I'm very
But like
low-key,
you
yeah.
were very wordy, and I could see
Yeah.
the way it was coming out. And I was like, man, how's that feel? How doped up are you
Oh
on the
my
dope? And he
God.
goes, super doped. up.
super high.
And then the next night to do a show with one of my best friends
Yeah.
and some other
Sure.
people. But when I walked up in the black room and Nate called me up, and I was like, you guys probably saw the poster. Like something was not like the others. That's me. I go, I know. I wore a really
and the
nice.
cream filling.
I wore a really nice outfit on purpose, right? To stand out. So I had like a Brooks Brother
Gotta
button-up
look
shirt.
good.
No, like to and then to try to play the persona, and I was just like, I know I look like I own the building.
I know. I look like I'm writing the
You know,
checks.
I look like the person you would call to defend you. Like just start doing
I'm
crazy
not the landlord.
crazy stuff like that, and then but it was fun, and I enjoy it.
That's
and,
good, man.
But it is. I was more nervous for comedy than I was doing my pops' eulogy.
oh yeah.
Like, I mean, that was the most emotional day of my life, was when, the funeral for my father.
Sure.
And but I was more nervous for the first time I did stand up.
Really?
Yeah.
I forgot my jokes as they called my name. And I don't drink, and I was with another
Yeah.
close friend, Jay Moy, and I took 2 shots of whiskey.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
that'll get
and
you-
I went up there and I was like,
Yeah, that gets you
Good
leveled
night.
out.
And Moy goes, I don't know what you just said.
yeah.
But no, thank you, man. Like I said, it's a lot of fun. Our
awesome.
goal is eventually, as Melon Party Fresh and Clean, is to have something in Seymour, and
That'd be fun.
it'd be nice to go back home.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
nice
Do
to
that.
do like a live show, do some charity stuff.
That'd be fun.
Something fun for the town. Because we do make jokes and stuff about Seymour, but we've all also mentioned that we're all happy that that's a town we grew up in.
Yeah, man,
like
that's
it was-
our
it-
hometown.
we are who we are because of that town.
Gotta
what
rep
that,
Seymour.
That town forced us to be creative. It forced us to be funny. It forced us to be able to laugh at ourselves, to judge our own selves. And so,
Not take yourselves too seriously.
yeah, and so we are thankful for that. But yeah, we do make a lot of jokes. But
We've got
anybody
love
who
for
knows
Seymour.
us knows that we got love for Seymour.
For sure. For sure.
So, Jared, what's new with you, man? It's been a while since I've seen you.
Man, like a few things actually. The most prevalent and the biggest pain in my ass right now is like last week, I'm mowing my lawn, right? It's that time of year. I'm out mowing my lawn. It's good. I got a nice Toro self-propelled mower, so I just got to kind
Stop
of,
bragging.
walk behind it. I ain't got to push it.
That's that podcast money.
Yeah, but listen, son.
Yeah, man.
And it's a good thing I had that podcast money because I get my front yard completed, all right? And it looks good. It's nice. Got to keep up with my neighbor, JT and Liz. Their lawn's always looking fire.
Oh, yeah. Liz, who called in before?
Yeah, for sure. Their
Yeah.
lawn's always looking fire, so I got to at least keep mine looking decent.
Mediocre.
So I get my front lawn done. I'm going up the side all of a sudden, then my lawnmower just stops. I just put gas in it, and I'm like, I fire it back up. It goes for about 10 more seconds. Stops. What the fuck? So I look at it. I pull the oil stick out. Completely empty. There's no oil in it. I'm like, shit. And I've been running this thing for 20 minutes at least in that front lawn.
Not getting any
So I'm
black
like,
smoke or anything?
well, no, nothing.
No warning.
Nothing. So I go to the co-op, the Country Mark. I get some oil for it. I come back. I put the oil in it. And I'm like, I better just let it chill for today. And we'll give this a try again tomorrow. And I fire that thing back up tomorrow. And I turn it back up. It fires right up. And it's going. And I run a little strip through my backyard. And I'm like, okay, good. It's good to go now. I'm like firing it up. And about 2 minutes after that, I'm going... just starts billowing white smoke, bro. Just absolutely belching a cloud of like Cypress Hill concert white smoke out of this fucking mower. And I'm like, well, that can't be good. So I turn it off. I call the old man. We put it in the truck. We take it out to like Rockford or whatever that Pruitt's out there to get it fixed. He's like, it's going to be a week or 10 days. And that was, last Thursday. So it's been a week, man. And my fucking backyard, bro, is 10 inches tall, boy. It looks like a cornfield back there.
Gonna have to start having
front
wild
lawn's
animals.
getting a little long. It needs a mow, but I got it done that last week. But we had all this fucking rain. Like that's been a bitch for me. So I'm hoping I get my lawnmower back so I can get my lawn mowed, man.
You're dealing with those what is that, homeowner
issues.
shit.
No doubt, bro. Like, the joys of home ownership are never ending, man.
But
But
surprised it fired back up.
I do, man. I must have run out of oil
I bet.
completely.
Yeah, I bet that thing was hurt.
He's gonna call me and be like, "Well, you blew out your O-rings on that sucker. I had to bore her on out and lube her up and put a new piston ring in
Be
there.
$500.
I know. Be like, shit, dude. I could have bought a new riding lawnmower for that. I'm gonna be furious if that's the
Like,
case.
you keep
bro.
that bitch for sparks.
Yeah, no
man.
doubt. Keep it, son. No doubt.
Keep it. My
Bill
donation
me.
to you.
Bill me, bro.
Bill me for your
Check
for
is
looking.
in the mail.
Yeah, that kind of shit's never fun.
It's terrible, man. I need a little.
And usually when stuff like that happens, it kind of just piles on. Things start happening over, and it just gets even more frustrating.
Never think about
small
that dumb shit, man.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, real fast is we just purchased a new mower.
Oh yeah.
My wife says something's going on with our push mower, and I was like, wow, just didn't buy that not too long ago. So I'm going through it, and then I look underneath, and the blade is in the form of a question mark.
Did you just like run over a stump or something?
The kids did.
Yeah.
And the kids just
Just all fucked
and then
up,
because she likes to mow grass, I like the weedy edge, and she likes to do it, which is no big deal. And then and I was like, all right, what? I was like, where's the exhaust manifold on the side of this? It's gone. This thing
just like shook
got a
itself to death.
cyborg of
probably.
a
I don't know
fucking-
if there's a new thing of stealing that version of the catalytic
Yeah, I
converter.
was gonna say, is there
mowers.
palladium and lawnmowers now?
It was
that the
gone.
crackheads are
The
getting?
blade was underneath. The exhaust on the side
the
was
kids
gone.
did something and didn't tell you. That's
the group text
classic.
like, hey, you might know what happened to mower.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Old boy was the last to use it.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
Throw his brother under the bus.
So I didn't want to buy a new one because we signed a lease for a year for here. We're going to be moving on and where we move to, whatever. So I buy one from a marketplace. Guy's a very nice guy. We get there last Sunday. He goes, hey, just make sure I put a brand new blade on it, and he showed me, started right up. Get home, me being me is like, he put a brand new blade on it. All right, so I flip it up right out there. Yeah, he didn't know how to put on a blade. So when he
like
tested
upside
it,
down
That's
or something.
dangerous.
so there's two.
Hell yeah.
So there's two notches that go in, as you know.
Yeah.
Most of you notch it, you know, and then you tighten up the ratchet. And he didn't have it in the holes. So
If
if
didn't have it set, that would have flown off of that
Yeah.
motherfucker.
yeah,
Oh, Jesus.
yeah.
You have no idea. That'd take your leg off.
But he tested
Serious
it.
damage.
Tested it in the garage, like, oh, and it worked great. And I'm excited, like, hey, it was $125. We're good to go. And the plane could have flew off.
Gave you a claymore
Oh,
mine
man.
instead.
Had that thing
Damn.
stick it in your shin.
That'd have been
So
the worst, bro.
the melon party tip of the day: check blades.
Yeah,
on
check your mower blades.
Tis the season.
y'all.
And
No
check the
doubt.
oil.
Yeah, and check the oil in your mower too. No
Yeah,
doubt.
we got to get a new mower. We're on like the 6th year, and I've ran this thing hard. And I mean, now we have some people coming and doing it now. But like, yeah, next year I'm going to get one. The one we've got doesn't even have the automatic. You got to actually push it and stuff. So
Yeah,
it's a bagger, but it's all right. It's a Toro. Toros are great,
nice.
So we're looking in next season. We're gonna upgrade our yard vehicles.
Where's the kids at? I mean, normally their kids walk through the neighborhood.
Yeah.
No doubt, nobody does that anymore.
I was looking
Go make
up-
some bread.
I was
dog.
like, hey, I was waiting for some. I want to put a sign in the yard that said, I will cash app you to mow the yard because we're both busy. I travel a lot. My wife's
and
business is doing it.
landscapers are charging like $50. That's crazy talk.
Yeah, we got a deal. We get it for like $20 for them to
That's
come and
great.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's why
That's
that's
what I'd
why
pay
we
a
were
kid
doing
to
it.
come do mine. I mean, that's how I made money when I was little.
Yeah,
man.
that was my first business. I mowed 7 lawns in the
all
neighborhood.
the
man.
time. Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's gotten to that point. Like we had a kid when we first moved into the house we got. There was a boy across the street. I can't remember his name, but he was older than Piper at that time, so he's probably maybe in high school by now. But autistic and but like he's the kind of kid that I'd be weed eating. And I had headphones in, and then I'd like stop and turn, and he'd be standing right there.
Just right in your space, close
Yeah, I'm
talker.
like, whoa, like,
Hey,
hey, man, what's
buddy.
up, buddy? He's like, you weed eating? Yeah. Can I weed eat? I guess, yeah, if you want, man. And like he would come over. I remember one time when I got the first
was
got that
into it,
mower.
huh?
I was putting the mower together, and all of a sudden I hear putting that Toro together. And I turn around, and I was like, oh, what's up, buddy? He goes, can I help you? And I'm like, yeah, man, come on over here, And him and I.
Did you take him into your basement and put him into a virtual reality machine to increase the brain power and call him the lawnmower man?
No, I did. I haven't thought of that movie in so long.
He's autistic and talking about
lawnmowers.
That's the first
Yeah.
thing that came in my head.
But he was a good kid, but he's not there anymore. Because I would have thrown him $20 a week to come over and take care of my
Hell
lawn.
yeah,
And
dog.
then
Hell
my
yeah.
daughter's getting into it a little bit, but she's like that. She's all
She's
excited
like
until he gets
10 or
halfway through
11
it.
though.
Yeah, she's 11, so she
That's
gets
still a
halfway through,
little
and she's like, "I'm
young.
over it." I'm
Still
like,
a
all right.
little young.
The
But
worst,
yeah.
the worst part about it is that my kids did mow lawn and did a great job, but I'd have to pre-inspect them before they went out.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
I'm
I'm
like-
like, look at this big ass strip you missed.
Yeah, you-
No,
this
I'm
is-
talking about what the clothes they're trying to wear outside.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
be like, you're about to wear these $80 white shoes out to mow the lawn. I will kill you.
Yeah.
Bro.
Colin had 150 KDs,
What? I'm gonna mow the lawn in them?
and he tried to mow the lawn in them.
Yeah.
I will murder you.
And then he had on his $45 basketball socks on, and I'm
Yeah.
just like,
What
what are we
are you
doing
Yeah,
here?
you're not supposed to have a $400 get up to mow
Nah,
grass.
man.
We have a tub out in the garage that has all the shoes.
Yeah.
because my shoes go from in my closet, the very very top
Those are
is the Jordans,
the top shelf
Yeah,
shoes.
and those have the boxes with the Jordans still in, and with
Sure.
the boxes and everything. Those are my
Special reserve.
Those are my we're getting nice tonight, you know. And then
special
down on the
reserve.
bottom, I have all my
Like
different ones. So like I've
yard
got ones for certain
shoes,
outfits or
disc
like a
golf.
little more dressier kind of shit too.
Sure,
And then
sure.
out in the garage is my work boots, my disc golf shoes, and all the shoes that I've kind of made. Because then you go from the closet and then you make your way down into
they
the mud
make-
room.
yeah.
And the mud room's like where these shoes I wear now, they're on the mud room because they're my everyday shoes. I have these and I
Right.
have a pair of Pumas. And then my kids have like their slides and
Nice.
different stuff there. And then you go from there out to the garage, and those are the yard work shoes.
Listen to fucking
You know?
Imelda Marcos over here.
So we
with
have a
his
tub.
800 pairs of
We have a
fucking shoes.
tub that has all the outdoor shoes, and we all have our own couple pairs out there, And but yeah, you can't be all done up mowing grass, man.
What's the shoe count, Jared, Josh?
Dude, I have no shoes. I got rid of all my shoes when I left LA. I have like five pairs.
I don't
of
have
shoes.
that many, to be honest.
I have like 5 pairs of shoes. No, I probably have more than that. I got a few dress shoes. I probably got 10 total pairs of shoes that I could wear today.
Yeah, I think I have like 30.
Yeah,
But then
awesome.
again, but it's all for different. That's the only thing right there that
Yeah, your
I want
Jordans here,
that my
those are
brother
nice.
gave me that I'm not probably gonna wear.
Yeah, because I wear like these. I spent decent on these, and these are like my everyday Jordans. And then I've got a pair of Jordans that are expensive. Like, I don't wear them.
I had to get some
I
new
keep them
shoes,
so in case
man.
they're an asset. I like them. My wife got them for me for a gift, and they're awesome. But like, they're also to the point where a lot of people could sell them and pay their mortgage.
Walking my dogs
You know,
all
like-
the time, man. I walked holes in the bottom of my shoes, bro.
Yeah.
Man, hell yeah.
So yeah, the shoes, I don't have nearly as many as I want or I should. Because the thing is, my wife and I are both shoes. Like, she's getting into the Air. She got a new pair of Air Maxes. Whew, they're clean as
So
hell,
did
man.
Steph.
Yeah, Air Maxes are so good.
I don't know. My wife's starting to dress like a little make me nervous.
Yeah.
Like, she's starting to wear Air Maxes, and then
Yeah.
she bought a pair of Air Force Ones.
There we
She's
go.
got the matching sweat outfits on.
That's great. Yeah, those. I mean,
I don't know. I may lose her to the other team. We're working
Well, we
on
always
it.
tell our kids and stuff, your shoes are your rims, like in a car. They're the first thing people see. Most people are looking down, so the first thing they see with you are your shoes. So having not super expensive or nice, but just having a clean pair of shoes, or a nice pair of shoes, and like. But
Everybody likes new shoes,
yeah, like they're awesome. Shoes are great.
They're
My
huge,
my go-to shoes for big shows on stage are Yeezys that Nate gave me.
Yeah,
Nice. For sure.
get people's attention.
Yeah, because usually if you wear Yeezys in Southern Indiana, they're like,
Yeah, because they're not. Everybody knows of them, but not many people have actually seen them in the wild. It's one of those
that's
things.
maybe the best reference to
That's 100% true.
a backdoor
To
reference
Yeezys
ever.
Ever.
That's a clip.
Yeah.
That's
for sure.
gold, Jerry.
I love
That's
it.
gold, Jerry. So, breaking news coming in from Dog Walking News.
That's right. Dog Walker News is about to break another huge Seymour story, folks. From the folks that brought you the story of the Cougar B&B and the sighting of the cougar back at our very first intro here. So I'm walking the dogs down. I walk them downtown usually. I walk from like my house down on Johnson Street, and I walk them up to like Chestnut Street, where the post office is, and walk downtown there. And I've been walking. I made a joke to Alan Worski in the chat a few weeks ago because he sells like windows and doors out of Tommy D's in Bloomington.
Yep.
And I was walking past the Chestnut Motor Inn, and I saw that they had put all new windows in the place. And I was like, oh, dang. I texted Alan. I made a joke. I was like, oh, did you make a big bank, get a huge commission, selling some windows to the Cheese Nut over there? And he was like telling him about it. And so I've been walking past there again the other day, and they have completely remodeled the Cheese Nut. And they have like chip and sealed and striped the parking lot, all new curbs and parking stops.
Wow.
They repainted the entire exterior. They ripped up all the landscaping out there and put down new pea gravel and like new evergreen trees. And they took down that old sign, that old rusty neon
I
sign.
wonder what they did with that.
I don't know.
Somebody's gotta keep that.
That'd be
That's a
dope.
classic,
Yeah, I
dude.
don't know where the old sign. I think the old sign had been down for a while. It was just the post. But I walked
Yeah.
by today or the other day, and I had a new sign up there.
Oh yeah, what's it say?
So the gentrification of Seymour is nearly complete. The Chestnut Motor Inn is now the Villas at Seymour.
Why does everything got to be a villa?
I don't know. It's
That's
like
The
it's,
Villas
it's almost
at
like
Seymour.
naming apartment complexes is kind of the same as naming water parks. And we used to talk
still
about
rent
this.
them villas by the hour.
For many people who don't know, the Chestnut Inn was it was a place, but it was kind of rumored to be drug dens.
Yeah,
and
it was real
it's a-
seedy
yeah.
motel, and like some shady shit went down there.
John Cougar Mellencamp's movie had some scenes there.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
right downtown next to the post office.
Yeah.
It's got to have been there since the 50s.
But that's nice though. Like I have to say,
It
for
is
that
nice.
area because it's close enough downtown, it can help downtown.
Yeah, they're trying to revitalize the
Yeah,
downtown.
I'm okay. Like I'd rather see that than a huge Seymour sign that
I don't
cost them $1
think it
million
had been
or
an
whatever.
inn probably for a while. I think they had
Yeah.
been apartments for a while.
Yeah.
I think
So
it.
I think they redid all the interiors too because
They
they had
had to.
everybody moved out there because there was
They
a bunch
had
of
to.
junk out on the porches and shit, and all that
Wow.
shit's gone.
Yeah, they
And,
had
like,
to
They're
redo.
redoing the whole office and shit
That had
too. Somebody dumped some money into that.
They
At
had
least
sick-
50 grand, at least.
They had 60 years of blood and nicotine smoke. And
That's
that,
what I was saying. I
like-
bet those rooms still smell like a fucking pack of Winstons,
Man.
though, bro. I guarantee it.
Oof. But the best part about it was when it's next to two funeral homes, so it was just quick and
It was
easy.
quick. Didn't need it.
You got
didn't
a
need
choice
hearse.
of two.
Don't even warm up the hearse. Just run the gurney on over there and pick them up.
We'll
They were
wait
picking
till
them
the
up on
wheelbarrow.
They were using gators and golf carts.
Throw him on the back. Get the Polaris out and go and get him.
We'll wait for the street lights to come on, and we'll go over there and grab the bodies. Turn the air conditioner on high to try to preserve them.
Yeah, they
till
put
we can
all
get
new
to 'em.
fucking air conditioners, like in all the that office building was like nasty, and
Yeah.
like all of those were gross. Like
That's
they put new window units and all of
Yeah.
them, new windows. I mean, it's really nice.
That's
It looks
great,
really
though.
nice.
I mean, it's in a great spot of downtown, and that's a historical spot, you
Yeah.
know, like for that town.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for that. I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think the name's silly, but like,
yeah, the
but
villas at Seymour. I cracked up.
but
I
I'm-
wanted to take a picture of it, but I was cracking.
That's where I
up
met
so
the love
much
of my
with
life.
but that's
the
what's-
villas of Seymour.
yeah. But that's what's great about like that kind of like me naming like episodes for here, like for the podcast and stuff. It's just like
The love
I
of
come
my
with
life
them
by
on
the hour.
on the
$30
spot.
for that rusty
Yeah.
trombone at the Chestnut Motor Inn.
So I see that as like naming anything. It's like let's just come up with something, and if it's kind of goofy, at least if it's goofy, it's catchy and people will remember it, you
Yeah.
know. But it may sound ridiculous, but good for Seymour. I think that I think-
gentrification. It's probably that mayor, Madam Nicholson's gonna smuggle some illegals there into that fucking new villas at Seymour,
Who do you think built the place?
yeah, yeah.
wasting his money. We should have got an Olive Garden.
Still at the Olive Gardens. Always with the Olive Gardens. Another story that has happened in Seymour.
Some other big Seymour news. Yeah.
Reality TV makes its way to Seymour, Indiana.
Yeah, what Josh Gates and Expedition Unknown.
Yeah,
was
a
in
really
Seymour
big
a
show
few
from
weeks
Discovery.
ago.
It's History of Discovery, one of those.
One
I
of
don't-
those, channels. Well, Expedition Unknown is the name of the show.
Yeah, and they go around and they go to expeditions that are unknown,
Yes,
since
it's
the name.
rather self-explanatory.
and they quote unquote find things.
Yeah,
and
it's a little sensationalized, as I understand it.
yeah, it's entertaining.
But yeah, they were doing an episode in Seymour on what
The Reno brothers, supposedly. I mean, I think that was. We're not for sure from our source. That was
inside sources giving us some
yeah.
information. But
our inside source spoke to Josh a little bit about them being there and
followed
that's-
him around.
Yeah,
and
that's kind
caught
of what
him
we
out
got.
by Chateau de Pique.
Yeah, and so what they would be looking for, we're assuming. So let's sit here and try to assume, and let's make this rumor a little bigger.
Listen,
The Reno brothers. If you listen to us from the get go, you remember us talking about the Reno brothers in our
they
very
were in the
first
Seymour
episode.
top 10 most famous.
Yep, and what Seymour was known for too. Well, when the Reno brothers,
Home of the first train robber.
the train robbery, the earnings of that train robbery were never found.
Yeah,
They never
heist
found the
money.
treasure.
They never found the treasure. They hid it somewhere.
Yep, and somebody bought the Reno brothers' house, tore it all apart, trying to
Looking
find
for
it.
and on the land and stuff.
Yeah.
like searching for it. There's a big search for it back like in the 60s, I
Yeah,
think, or something.
and a lot of that railway that runs through Seymour, the left or right of the railways are like forests.
yeah,
you know,
it's
so it
just
could be
wild
out there
country
somewhere.
anywhere in a tree or who knows.
Yeah, or you know, like who knows? Yeah, and it could have been one of the brothers could have taken it and did something and didn't let anybody else
Yeah,
know
I
or
mean,
something. Like, I
who
mean,
knows?
they're fucking crooks, you know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're thinking why they were in town. We're not real sure yet.
Right.
When the episode comes out, I'm definitely going to watch it. And
Either that or they were looking for gully wampus on the White River.
Golly Wampus, that would be great. Yeah, well, and the White River has catfish in it that has been rumored to have the heads the size of school bus hoods.
What?
Yeah, like man, that's another
I ain't
rumor of the
trying
White
to
River.
Get in the White River, man.
No, you shouldn't. You should not get in. You should be on a
Why's
boat.
it got to
on
be
it.
the White River?
Yeah. Well, it's old, you know. So
Greatest road sign in Indiana is when you get off in like southern Indianapolis and you've got the road sign that's got the
Brownsburg,
Brownsburg to the left, Whitestown to the
Yeah.
right.
that's my neck of the woods now. Yeah,
Yeah, I lived in Brownsburg for a piece when I was little. Over
Nice
there by
town.
the Speedway.
nice town.
Right by the Speedway. They
I
had
enjoyed Brown.
the big drive-in theater there right
Yeah.
next to the Speedway back in the day, and I lived right behind that.
I
Used to
enjoyed
sneak in there
Brownsburg. I
and-
spent some time in there. That town. It's right next to where
It
I'm
was
living.
real
and-
little, though. That
yeah,
was
it's real nice.
before like grade school.
Yeah, and they're another town that redid a lot of their downtown and stuff, and it's real sharp. And so yeah, that's some local news so far.
A little bit of local news, yeah. So check out maybe that Expedition Unknown Reno Brothers Seymour.
When it comes out, I'll definitely
Yeah,
post
we'll
it
check
on
it out.
social media or Facebook, since it's the only one I can really
yeah,
post
we'll
videos
figure
like
it out
that.
and we'll get a link to that for our listeners.
But that's pretty
here.
cool. I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's really because I started seeing a bunch of pictures from people like stores and stuff that he went into, and people getting pictures with him. It's awesome, and from what it looks, and from our source when he said that Josh stopped and talked to him, like it feels like he has kind of an understanding on what that means to like the small town, kind of like that. Because in a small town, you could own a shop for 50 years and never see one famous person walk in there, like that. And so that's a big deal for that kind of town and for those people. So I think that's really cool that he did that. And I don't watch his show. I don't know a whole lot about him, but what I do know is like I respect him, Josh Gates, for that. I think that's really cool what he was doing for the town and for the fans there. Because that's definitely the kind of show that a lot of people in that town probably watch. You know?
Sure.
Like I didn't know who he was, when I first saw him. And
neither. I was like,
I did know Expedition Unknown. I've heard that before.
Sure.
I just didn't know who he was. So yeah, I think that's really cool. I like when people have an understanding of who they are and what they maybe mean to those people around them, and they don't they're not doing it to be a dick or anything. They understand it, and they understand their position. They accept their position, and then they got to go with it. And I think that was really good for Seymour. Really cool.
It's always good for Seymour. Trend-setting Seymour, man. That's what we do. Always finger on the pulse in Seymour, baby.
People were wondering why three guys from Seymour were going to start a podcast and talk about Seymour. This is why. There's stuff happening in Seymour.
Everything happens in the crossroads of America over there. We're right there on the crossroads.
Now,
you at the crossroads.
One thing though, if you go over to Shield's Big Diamond now, it has been renamed.
Oh, really?
What is it?
It's after my pops.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you guys just had that thing.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So they had the thing there.
That's neat.
So they put it up there. The mayor was there. The city board was there, and it was very cool. So they named it after him. So there's a plaque up there of him. I wish they would have got his old red coaching shorts he used to wear.
Yeah, hell yeah. The daisies. Those
Yeah.
things were sick. Those old like gym teacher shorts that were
The two buttons up top.
Yes, dude.
I wore them one time when I was like 16, and my mustache just grew. That
Yeah, that's what it does.
It's a prerequisite. It's like putting on a Santa outfit.
Yeah, you put it on, and your hormones get a +3. You
You
know, like you
immediately
just start
want to play dodgeball as soon as you
testosterone.
put them on.
They used to have the McGregor turf shoes.
Hell yeah.
And then they would have a
The big
polo.
tube
Yeah,
socks.
polo with no. They wear a polo shirt with no shirt underneath, tucked into the.
Yeah,
like,
tucked
how is
into
their
the short.
room?
Yeah.
How is their room?
Worse, no underwear. That was probably like a leotard polo that he was wearing.
Yeah.
And
But
just,
when you put those shorts on too, like if you have those shorts on, like BJ was saying, your mustache starts to grow. If you take a cigarette and put it near your lips, the cigarette lights on its own.
Instrument,
Yeah.
just
Like,
from
there's just
your
things that are special
spontaneous
about those.
combustion.
women just get pregnant when you walk by.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
That's it, dude.
But
But
the shorts could be
the
a
one
curse,
con,
but
unfortunately, is you develop a crippling cocaine addiction. Unfortunately,
yeah,
give me that booga sugar, baby. Love it.
yeah, those
And
shorts.
you're constantly asking, "Hey, how's your mom doing?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell your mom I said, hey.
Every kid
your
you
mama
coach
said,
every year.
How old's your sister?
I used to coach your sister. How old is she now?
Yeah,
What's she up to?
just checking in.
Tell her I said hey.
She signed the form.
One story of your pops I remember. He was my basketball coach when maybe 5th grade. At
You
Brown-
went to Brown. Yeah, we
Brown
both went
Elementary.
to Brown. Yep.
Yeah.
And we would always end our practices with games of dodgeball. And I think he only wanted to do it so he could call certain kids pussies, because like some of us would. I mean, because we had some good athletes in my grade
Did he
at that
split
time.
all the athletes onto
And
one
put the
team?
weakers on the
Yeah.
other.
Oh, every gym
And that-
teacher in the
and
world
that's-
does that.
and-
it's survival of the fittest in gym class. In
And he would
elementary.
always just sit off to the side and just laugh when
watch
kids
you
would get hit and
destroy
shit.
the nerds.
Dude, he would.
Every gym teacher's done that in their
He would
life.
get. Oh yeah, he would get so mad at me because I'm a grade ahead of Josh, and then he would just give me like, all right, we're going to do 5-on-5,
Yeah.
and he was like, all right, blah 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 blah. But BJ, I was just like, I have the kid that wears the diaper.
Yeah.
The smelly kid.
Yeah, and then he was just like, all right, you got this is what built tough times.
Yeah. These ones
Show
were
your
tough.
character. Lift them up.
Yeah, your dad was great.
Love
Because
it.
I that's when I really learned I had to you learn at a young age with your pops, man. Like you had to learn to understand sarcasm because I mean, he would hit you with stuff, and you'd be like, "Oh man, he's mad at me," and then he had that slight grin. You kind of wait for the smile after he'd say something.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with your dad, like he understood kids who could take it and who couldn't.
Right.
And the kids who couldn't, he was a totally different person.
Yeah, and he was, and I know I've done comedy and I've had great success. He held court better than anyone I've ever met.
Yeah.
And quick story is, my favorite story of him coaching me. We were playing baseball at the league that they named the field after, and I was a catcher. That's what I did. I was a catcher.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, "Hey, you want to pitch?" And I was like, "Are you drunk?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "No." So I go out there to pitch. I walk the first 3 batters, bases loaded. He's like, "Time." Comes out in those red shorts and that polo mesh hat, and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "How you feeling?" I was like, "Man, my arm is gel." He's like, "All right, I need you to do this for me." I was like, "Okay." It's like, next pitch, throw it over the backstop. I was like, "What?" He's like, "Throw it over the backstop." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, it's the only thing you haven't hit yet." And he walked away, and I was just like, "What?" And it was the same thing he just said. Was he serious?
Yeah, he called a timeout just to come out and talk shit to you after you're struggling. You're already struggling.
But here's the brilliance. I did it.
Yeah.
Right? And the kid was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
I struck out the next 3 batters.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the thing.
of course.
Because they were scared to death.
They didn't know where it was going.
Every time you pitch,
Yeah.
they start to step back just
Yeah.
a hair.
They
Yeah.
took-
And all you got to do is lob it over to a
I
strike.
was like, I tell you what, that malted man was a genius.
Yeah, dude.
I love
Took your mind right off
I
of it,
love
man.
it's the only thing you haven't hit yet.
hilarious.
That is him. Like
Brilliant.
yeah.
And
Really
he never raised his voice or lowered. He
No.
was just like, just throw it over the backstop.
Well, that's what was so hard about reading him because I didn't come from like that kind of start. My dad had that,
Yeah.
but like my dad did it in an anger way, like where I just never knew if he was kidding or not, you know. But like with Steve, like you could, like he had this balance to it. But like it was he never raised his voice or not, so that's what was confusing. You know,
Right.
as a kid, you're just like, are you mad at me or are you just being a dick? Like,
Yeah.
like you know, and then you get older, you look back,
Gym
you're like,
teachers
he was
did.
just cool as hell being a dick to him.
Oh, it was the same thing. It was the same thing like around the house. It was just like and I stole it from him. Like my sense of humor is dry. Is he serious or not? I use it today in my management. Like they're like, someone asked me, they're like, the other day was like, do you want us to leave the pizza or something like that? I was like, no, just leave it out all week and I think it'll taste better on Monday. And I just walked away. And when I went to leave,
Ask a stupid
it was still
question,
out.
get a stupid answer.
It was still
That's
out.
what I was always thinking, yeah.
So it took me the longest time when I switched jobs to get people to understand my sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be like, oh, that's great. We might as well just burn down and start over.
Brown kids, huh? Were either of you bouncing bears?
I was a bouncy bear. I was on the first team, very first team
Dang,
ever
listen
created.
to this.
It was Barry and Falwell.
Yeah, like
Matthew
Matthew
Falwell.
Falwell, Brian, me and Brian
Bruce
Ains.
Simpson was on it too.
Yeah,
man.
from my grade because I think they took 2 or 3 from
Ains
each
was
grade.
nasty.
Yeah,
boy.
Brian Ains and I were he was super.
His
He would be
sister.
like
he
flips
should have been a
and
gymnast.
shit.
Yeah,
he would be like flipping,
he was-
jump roping and
yeah,
shit.
he was learning that stuff like on
He
his.
was
I
a
remember him
ninja.
flipping off of picnic tables starting
We
out.
had
and I
a
was like,
Japanese.
"Whoa!"
We had a Japanese kid who came to our Jackson. I went to Jackson, and we had a Japanese.
Of course you did. We can
kid.
tell.
Yeah.
We can tell.
We can
Listen,
tell.
Hey, 6th grade city basketball
Yeah.
champs represent. Anyway, we had a Japanese kid, Kazuki Hattori, came to town. It was right when Ison opened, and they brought in like that first wave of Japanese families. And he could barely speak any English, but he was like an insane jump roper.
Yeah.
He brought his own jump ropes to school. He had all those dope like Japanese backpacks and like pencil cases
Of course,
and shit.
yeah.
All that insane
Shit,
And
we didn't get
were
till
like
5 years later.
Yo, we were like freaking out, and then he would come out to recess, and that dude brought his like 3 sets of jump ropes, and would be doing like the crazy like
Yeah.
cartwheels and shit,
Yeah.
and one-handed like jump ropes and stuff, and we were like, what? We were like, yeah, you know, you're like 8 years old. That's the coolest thing you've ever seen in your life, dude. You know?
But the thing is, like, you haven't seen that since, really. You know?
Hell no.
You know,
Shout
so it
out
was cool
Kazuki.
shit.
Hope he's listening
Yeah.
in Japan or wherever you are.
And then
man.
there's still jump rope competition for the
Oh, yeah. They're
I watched
insane
it.
now.
They're crazy
The
now.
speed
They're like
ones you can't
break
even-
dancers.
yeah, you can't even see their wrists moving, and it's like
the
fuck,
speed
crazy.
dudes where they're like counting their
and their feet are just barely.
They can only count their feet, and they got those like hand counters where they're like,
It's
"Oh, you
crazy.
just like
And they're like
jumped
going in
500
circles.
times in 60 seconds."
Yeah, and they spin like in circles, but their feet are
Crazy.
barely they're like doing the gritty basically on their feet. You know, it's insane. Like I could never do that. Brian Ains and I had a couple good things. I held Brian Ains back. We'll say that.
Yeah,
my
Ains was
abilities.
sick, dude.
But yeah, he was really
You guys
good.
would be coming around to all the other schools, though.
Yeah,
Well,
we
I
did.
did-
We
I-
did traveling and stuff.
I didn't. That's the only thing I didn't do because our PE teacher's the one that created it at Brown.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name at all, but I really liked her.
Yeah.
They also let us climb.
It wasn't Tramp. It was.
I know she had red hair, kind of fluffy.
Yeah. What was her name?
I can't remember, but they used to let us.
Listeners, she'll give us her name. Matt Allen will remember.
I can't remember.
But we
Matt
used to be
Allen
able to-
remembers
Sucks because she was
everyone.
great.
Yeah, remember we used to climb the gym pole 20 feet in the air with no net, no nothing.
Yeah, just a pad.
Nothing, but you guys had the rubber floor though. The gym
Yeah, we had the
floor.
rubber floor.
That's how Jackson's was.
But
too.
rubber floor was dangerous because it was pure dust.
Oh, I mean,
the burns you'd
Oh.
get on that
you
thing.
know how many those
Worse than
jumpsuits,
pavement,
those
dude.
plastic like pants we would wear that had the
Yeah.
cloth underneath them, and you'd want to slide. And you go, oh, I learned.
You
Just burn,
melt
it. Yeah.
melt your pants.
But yeah, they had those
You
rope
have, like,
and those
nylon
poles,
pants.
and there was a mat like
Yeah.
8 inches,
8
thick.
inches
Yeah.
thick,
Like when
dude.
you stepped on the mat, you could feel the floor, and
Yeah,
that was
there
what's going to stop
nothing,
you.
like
no.
2 inches.
All that
dude.
was going to do is let you
You're
have an
breaking
open
your
casket.
arm.
And you got a point for every time you climbed it, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I did 82 times my 5th grade year.
Wow.
Right.
crazy.
And now I'm older, and I'm like,
I couldn't do
Yeah.
that 2 times.
like where's
dude.
this workman? No, I don't want to say workman's comp, but what kind of insurance did this school have?
Yeah.
Like this kid just like we
gotta
would
be
we
like
would swing back and forth from
1987.
both of them.
Yeah, from the
Yeah.
top so you can get to both.
Like,
yeah.
can you hold
Yeah.
on to both of them?
The
Yeah, what's
swing.
this?
Yeah, fucking crazy.
He'd be going out and they had like those 12-foot swings with the poles,
Yeah.
and you're like getting up and like running across the top of
Yeah.
those things and jumping off of them and shit.
Well-
like
well, I
Metal
was-
baseball
whole playground
bats,
of
no
crap.
hat, no helmets. We're out there swinging in those
Yeah.
four little cages.
Yeah, insane. Your wife posted something recently about the old metal slides.
Oh, yeah.
and
the
like
heat.
I looked at the picture and I could hear that picture. Yeah, and I could feel that picture.
just skin laid down
Oh,
on
man.
that slide. You'd be getting out there in into the summer months, dude. It'd be baking out there 90 degrees all day. You'd get on it in shorts. Just,
And you knew it because you're climbing. Because the thing is, there wasn't like these different layers of steps. No, it's straight up. You're climbing a ladder straight up to it.
like, get
There's
on the
no
top.
railing.
Yeah, no
And so,
safety.
like, how
nothing.
many- and there's
get up
just
on the top and like
asphalt.
spit on it and be like,
Yeah.
sit like sizzle on
And
that
then you would take
asphalt
off and
underneath you, you
would
know?
take off running as you got a little bit older and try to see how you can jump up and hang onto the side of it, and then your hands would just slip or let go because it's burning.
Oh yeah,
You're
man.
falling 10 feet to whatever feet, or you climb up the slide, and then it's like,
Terrible. Just like a rite of passage.
and then
like,
the teachers are out there just like,
They
oh,
don't
kids are
care.
having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look
as
at that
long as
kid.
they're not
He's-
fighting.
Yeah,
you know?
like-
Hey, I'm
Exactly.
gonna go have a cigarette.
Yeah, they're like, here, watch the kids. I'm gonna go over here
Yeah.
and smoke a heater.
and get this beer in.
yeah, like get a lunch beer. It's 1988 or something.
Yeah. Well,
the other-
100%.
And the other thing is we were able to swing. They would let us push people on swings, and we would just run underneath, let them go,
yeah.
and they're like, Woo!
Yeah, power swing.
You wanted to try to get someone to go around.
And-
It's like
Yeah.
try to get me. It's
Yeah,
like
go.
that's safe.
And the teachers were like,
You're like, yeah, let's do that.
not nearly
and then,
strong enough.
and then everybody's like, kids should, be outside more and play. And I'm like,
careful.
how do we not like? There had to
Careful.
be they're like, oh, Johnny broke his arm, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, no shit, because
They get the wood chips now,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, they get a little.
we had
We
pure,
had gravel.
yeah.
in asphalt, and that's the thing is those metal slides and the metal jungle gym stuff were on asphalt. So the heat's hitting the asphalt, the sun heating up the asphalt, which is heating up the metal that's touching. So everything was just fucking
Pure
hot,
danger.
and the sun beamed off everything like it was bright. and,
Driving
like,
to school with your parents in the car with no seatbelt in the front seat, windows closed while they're smoking heaters. You know, dropping you off at school with your, maybe your packed lunch, your brown bag lunch that had like a mayonnaise sandwich that you're not refrigerating it, you're just leaving it in your desk until lunch.
completely lawless.
Yeah.
The 80s were
Mine
lawless.
was peanut butter, syrup, and sugar. My grandma made me like, this
Hell
is a good
yeah.
dessert.
Yeah. Where's my
Have some
protein?
diabetes.
Like, yeah, where's my?
They want me to sit there in class hopped up on
Yeah.
sugar.
Yeah, on the way to school, we talked about this before. On the way to school, we're sitting in the back seats. We've sucked down 2 cigarettes that we didn't smoke.
Yeah.
And like it's like, and then we had sugary cereal, and all this shit. And it's like, well, your son struggles paying attention and learning about history. Well, yeah,
Well, no
because
shit,
he's hopped up on
just,
shit, man.
Yeah, he just ate 3 Pop-Tarts and,
Couple
mainlined a
cigarettes.
Big Red
And a Big
before
Red.
8 a.m.,
Then high school was a Big Red, and it was a Big Red and 2 cigarettes on the way to high school my senior year.
Seriously, dude.
It's so crazy. Oh, and speaking, this is a thing that's starting to bother me. And it doesn't bother me, but I've noticed. Talking about back in the day. Today, the kids, the Happy Meal toys and memorabilia is not there. And that was such a big part of our childhood was the McDonald's toy. The
You see
McDonald's,
those-
first of all, was better back in the day. The taste different.
Yes.
And you got badass toys for $2.
Like the toys, those old Transformer Happy
Yeah.
Meal toys. Those
That
are
turned
big
into
money
food.
now.
Yeah.
The food, they had like the fry.
They're real
one
little.
and the
It was
burger
one
ones.
movement, but they were cool as shit.
Yeah, you can get those are going for big money
Yeah.
now and are collectible.
And all the little
They don't
pullback
have that
cars.
shit no more. They like. Do they still put shit in cereal boxes?
No.
No.
Well,
Because probably
I-
some kid choked on it one time.
Or
Or
if they
something.
do, it's like a stick or something that's on the outside of the bag between the box and the
I
bag.
eat a lot of
In the bag
I eat a
no
lot
more?
of fiber cereal. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. They don't put that in grape nuts, do they? Special K. What, they give you AARP cards in that. Don't
they give you coupons for toilet paper.
Yeah. And antacids.
Yeah, the bag of Special K can be doubled as it depends when you're finished.
But I might be misremembering, but also you remember like the little pullback toys, like they've put some of those
Where
in
you
today's.
pull them back like the car.
Yeah,
and then
I remember
they'll
we
run
used to do it, and
forward.
them motherfuckers would run,
fly.
Now, like you pull it back once, and if you push forward with it, it's
broken.
It's done.
China.
And like
China.
And the thing is, though, what's crazy about it is my kids still want the toy. They look at it and like, and then it goes into the drawer and they never play with it. And my wife throws it away
Probably
6
why,
months later.
man. But I mean, like I haven't had a Happy Meal in a while. Do they still give toys in it?
Yeah,
They
but
give toys?
they're like little. They're just not. It's just not there. Like the love
So
of
the
the game is
Transformer
not
Happy
there.
Meal toys were hot.
Yeah.
They remember the California raisins.
Hell yeah, I had all of them.
All of them.
Collect them all, kind of shit.
Remember the Batman glasses?
Yep.
Like the
Space Jam had them. Batman, the little
yeah,
16-ounce fucking collector's
they were
glasses with
collector's
Two-Face on them and
glasses.
shit.
What?
You remember
Demolition Man had
Demolition.
some? That
And
was
you
a little
remember
later,
you
though.
could go there around Halloween and you could get the different color pumpkin like Halloween treat to take
the
for
buckets,
trick or treating.
The buckets.
And you always went to McDonald's on trick or treat because they gave you a
Yeah.
pack of the cookies.
That's
Remember the
right. I
you could
forgot
get-
all about that until
you could
just now.
get the pack of cookies, so
I
you make
forgot
sure your
all about
parents
that.
would run you over there so you could get the
Hell,
cookies.
yeah. Dude.
But yeah, it's just not there. And I mean, I do understand it because we were
is that?
we were the toy culture when we grow
100%.
up. It wasn't there before
Best
us,
toys.
and it's not there now. Like
they-
that was us,
I mean, like, yeah, there were some good toys before. I mean, like, and they started like the pre-war toys. You had like your tin cars, like your rocking horses, and like you think
Yeah.
about your old school toys were all like model trains were real big. They were
Yeah.
all like just miniature versions of real things.
Yeah.
Mini cars, mini tractors,
Yeah.
or whatever. But then, like when we were young, that's when really kind of action figures blew up.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
yeah.
Star Wars was the first big action figure,
Yeah.
that really blew up. I mean, G.I. Joe was there before.
Yeah, G.I. Joe, but what was big
They
with
were
us,
like
they were the
dolls.
16,
They were like 12-inch tall dolls that killed G.I. Joes. The action
and they didn't have
figures-
names. They was just G.I. Joe.
Right.
There wasn't no story behind it. It was just this
Exactly.
thing.
Exactly.
You get some weapons and stuff. So
Yeah.
and then when it came to us, they miniatured down,
The
made them
6
moving.
inchers.
Yeah, they made their elbows
fully
screw.
articulating G.I. Joes where you
then-
could pose them and
Yep,
shit.
and started releasing
best,
the
dude.
cartoons, and that's
Bro.
where our generation was. They made cartoons to sell the toys.
That's
you
how
know?
He-Man was
Yeah.
created.
I mean, all of them. There's so many that failed too. Dino Riders was a huge
Dino
one.
Riders,
Mask.
Mask,
You had Cops,
Transformers,
COPS, Cops.
COPS.
You had
Cops, yeah.
the Karate Kid had
The
had
Karate
his
Kid.
own
Like Street Sharks.
Street Sharks.
That's how
and-
Vin Diesel got his shit
Yeah.
start
He was a
hawking
voice.
Street Sharks commercial. It's
Yeah.
hilarious, dude.
And the commercials were great too. And I forget
I
now.
remember all of those commercials, like the jingles. I used to memorize jingles
Yeah.
when I was little.
Yeah,
Like I could still sing you like the slip and slide commercial like right now.
yeah, if you had the music.
Yeah, like slip and slide. You
Yeah.
know, like oh man, I used to eat that shit.
And what one of the big songs too is a board. It was what was the not Master Blaster? Wasn't that was a video game?
Crossfire.
Crossfire.
You'll get caught up in the crossfire.
Crossfire.
The banger of all commercials. back in-
Crossfire.
Man, that was like
From-
metal ball bearings in that
Yeah,
game, dude.
that's all it was,
Like
yeah.
they were heavy, bro.
Fire in 'em.
Like you could have got if you had those like arm brace slingshots and got a game of
Ooh.
Crossfire. You could make you're a deadly weapon.
You're
now.
taking a deer out. You could definitely take it. You get a
Yeah,
headshot on a
boy.
deer.
Yeah, it would hurt.
That'll penetrate the
something.
skull.
Yeah, you're breaking skin easy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, those old toys though, man. I miss all those old toys.
I do too, and I've realized
worth so
as of
much
late that
fucking
my
money
kids
now.
didn't grow up with them because we go to the Pizza King in our neighborhood, and they have the TV set up in the booths, and you bring a quarter, you put the
Yeah,
TV,
you put
and then when we get on
got
there, it's-
retro TV.
yeah, and it's usually like Nickelodeon Network or whatever's on it. So that's just what we watch because my kids just don't
Sure.
watch TV.
Sure.
And so we started watching it, and then the toy commercials pop up, the new
what's
ones.
that?
And then my son's just in awe of everything, and I'm like, oh, that's right. Like these aren't
don't
in your
see
face constantly.
commercials like
Because when we were
that
kids, that
anymore.
was 90% of my day was being
90%
sold
Saturday
action
morning
figures.
cartoons,
Yeah.
and then between like 3 and 5 p.m. every day when you were watching.
I
your
mean,
shows
even
after
on
school.
TGIF on
Yes.
Thank God Friday, there would be like one or two GI
Yeah,
Joe or something
yeah,
of that,
like
you know.
a Super Soaker commercial
Yeah.
or something. Yeah, dude. Just
Teenage
like,
Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was such a huge. And you remember going to like Walmart or KB Toys or anything like
Toys
that,
R
and the
Us.
racks. You would show up and they'd have one rack that was 20 feet long.
Toys R Us the size of
just-
Walmart.
Yeah,
Just toys.
just of GI Joe.
Yeah.
You'd have one whole row of GI.
wall
The
of
left
G.I.
side
Joe.
would be all the vehicles. The right side's all the action, and you're just going
Yeah,
around.
the left side's like all
You
pink
know,
girl
and then you got
stuff.
your parents being like, "Well, hurry up, find the fuck
Dude,
you!
like, there's
Look
a
at this
whole
place."
store of
Yeah,
shit. Give
there's
me some
shit that
time
Seymour
in
doesn't
here.
have. I've never seen this
you
guy.
just spent 2.5 hours in JCPenney looking at underwear and socks.
Yeah,
Give me
while,
more than 10
while
minutes.
I'm sitting in the middle of a rack of clothes, and the round ones,
Yeah,
I go in the
dude,
middle and
like,
just sit
hide
there
inside
yeah.
of the racks
just
and be like,
wait.
"Where are they?"
Yeah, just in there picking my nose and wiping the boogers on the clothes and shit. You know, or you'd sneak in like the stink. Remember those real bad pellet
The
stink
silica
bombs?
packets or
yeah,
whatever.
or the stink bombs that come in the little glass.
Oh,
You
the
just crack
glass
it.
stink boys.
You
Yeah,
just slide that out, and somebody walks by and let them break it, and just sit there and
Those
listen
were
to
the
people gag.
worst, dude. I used to make my own. You like put an egg in a vinegar, and then
Yeah.
get like an old butter container with a lid on it, and you put an egg in that container and fill it about halfway up with vinegar, so it's only covering about half of the egg.
Okay.
Put it under your fucking bed for about 10 days, and it'll like
Pickling that shit.
pickle it and makes it go rotten too, and like. Dude,
Oh, I
you
can smell it.
throw that tin at something and it like will reek for a fucking
over.
month, dude. A month.
It's a scarlet letter.
You cannot
like you're
get
done.
rid of it, dude.
Yeah.
Like you could put gasoline on it and burn it away, maybe. But like
yeah,
that smells.
but you're
not
just
going
you're just
anywhere.
creating a whole new
Yeah.
fucking chemical.
Yeah, definitely creating
Yeah.
some biological warfare.
We really
back in the
need to
day.
dedicate a whole episode to your childhood.
Dude,
Yeah.
insanity, dude.
I mean, my childhood was unique, and but just the thought of you like put underneath your bed for 10 days.
Yeah.
I'm like, you put underneath your own bed for 10 days.
Listen, man, I did some. My brother was crazy, dude, and like I had a bunch of like older kids around me when
Yeah.
I was younger, so I was always cutting up and being an idiot. Always.
What was the main toy that you wanted so bad as a kid but never got?
I mean, I tell you what, the first commercial and the first toy commercial that I saw that almost fucking like knocked me out when I was
Like a TV or
a TV
magazine?
commercial.
Because the
It
magazine
may have been a magazine.
magazines were
Actually,
dope,
it was
too.
like
Sears?
a Sears catalog,
Yeah.
like the inserts when you get them for the Christmas
when that
one.
Sears came in for Christmas.
The Christmas
ooh,
boy,
that was an hour,
I
2
think
hours
that
of
might have been
entertainment.
where I first saw that big ass GI Joe battleship.
Oh yeah,
That was like 4 fucking feet
That
long.
was mine. That was mine.
yeah.
4 fucking feet. That thing had
didn't
to
know
weigh
anybody
40
had it.
pounds, I bet.
Yeah.
That thing had to be $300 in 1988.
My cousin had it.
Really?
Chris Short still lives in Seymour. I believe
The sickest
he had
toy.
it.
Yeah,
The
it was
sickest.
amazing because all the
It was as big as you were.
I've seen recently. I saw a video on Instagram of a toy store, and they were going through, and they always post stuff what they got, and they have this huge table out in the middle of it, and the table is that ship, and then all the airplanes and helicopters on it with
Dude.
all the.
It had to be
like the-
$300 in 1988,
Which is like a grand
That's
now.
got to be $1,000 today.
I mean, now if
who
you
was
find
getting
one
that?
sealed, they're expensive.
Holy
Find
shit,
one
gotta
with
be
the box.
crazy expensive, dude.
What's crazy too, I saw recently. There's a company now that does customized tubs, and they took that idea and made a tub. So the middle of the tub is the water, and around you is the
sick.
big ship around you.
A bathtub.
Yeah, it's a
nice.
bathtub for $3,000. They'll install it and everything for $3,000.
That's so sick.
I just look at that and I'm like, I would have never got out. I would have been
That's
sitting in that
crazy.
bitch with no water.
That G.I. Joe shit, though, man. It was so big, dude.
Yeah.
You just saw it. I was like, that's a toy?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, it's one that-
Like, I always wanted a Power Wheel, too. I never got one of those. I always asked for a Power Wheel. Pow, pow, power wheels. Pow, power wheels. King of the road.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that commercial.
Kids fucking tearing ass on them bitches,
dude,
man.
I wanted those.
That's the thing too with the commercials. All the kids they got, man, and
They were
those-
killing it.
They made it look like I was like,
Oh,
that's me.
It was an
I want to
action
do
movie.
that. Yeah.
It was an action movie.
oh GI Joe, and they had like the fake
Yeah.
mountains and with the
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
and it's like
They
man.
were killing it, dude.
They did-
Yeah,
I mean, the
those
marketing
kids
was
were
on
selling.
point.
Oh man, I was hooked, dude. It was great.
Yeah.
No wonder you go to every store and be like, "Can I get a toy? Can I get a toy?"
Yeah.
Because you were force fed that marketing every day.
Like I said, 90% of my day was having that shit.
Hell
thrown at me,
yeah,
man.
dog, dude! Like, what was your best toy that you ever had? What was your number one toy that you ever had that you actually had?
Mine
Like
are
your-
actually to the right of him right
Oh,
there.
you got the wrestling
The
stars over
wrestling-
there.
Those are the rubber boys.
Those are
rubber
the rubber
wrestling
boys.
stars?
Those,
Hell yeah.
Those were also a weapon in fighting your brother.
Yeah, those things
Oh,
hurt.
man.
And just, like lash him with those.
I bought those a few years ago.
Those are sick, dude. The wrestling
at a,
stars.
At a,
the WWF wrestling
Yep.
stars.
So I actually, yeah. So those,
They're like that 10-inch
those were
rubber
the ones we
figures.
wanted. Was every wrestler. We had the original WWF ring, and
yeah.
what you had
Had
to
a-
somehow as a child figure out how to do the ropes with the little
Yeah,
turnbuckle.
yeah, my
But-
cousin Josh had those.
But those were the ones that we wanted. Was those?
Yeah.
Those are actually series 2. They're series 1 and series 2.
I think the series one was a little
Were
bigger.
bigger.
There's
The thing is, they were bigger, and because when they went and promoted and brought the idea to them, they made them super big so they
Yeah.
could, so people could, so when they were selling the idea, I saw this on the Toys We Grew Up With
Toys,
documentary,
yeah, uh-huh.
and they did a whole episode about these guys,
Yeah.
and so they had the big ones. And those were created so then when they went and showed the idea, they could show the detail that they put in stuff.
right.
And then they were just like, yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, they're going to be small, and they're like, no, we want that size.
Right, yeah.
And so the first series, I think, are the ones that are a little bigger, and then they shrunk them down when they released them later in time.
Yeah, wrestling
'Cause
stars were dope.
So those were number 1. Number 2 was had Han Solo's gun.
No, hell yeah, the
Ooh,
blaster.
With the had took
With the
D,
darts.
D batteries.
Yeah.
and it made the sounds. That was my favorite toy besides
so heavy,
that one.
So heavy.
And then the lightsabers. We had the lightsabers that were made out of like
man.
kind of thick plastic,
Yeah.
but they didn't last real long.
No, because you fought with them and they broke.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. So I had my favorite like big ass toy that I ever had was I had the big Voltron.
Oh,
The
full
like-
metal, the one out of metal,
The
like
big boy.
the main, like that
Yeah.
was like 60 pounds.
Yeah, it was cast. Yeah, it was cast metal and it disassembled. Yeah, into all the different the cats or whatever.
Yeah.
and it was like 2 feet tall.
Dude, loved Voltron.
Loved that Voltron so much, dude. And I babied that thing. It had like that big ass sword on it. Like the sword that he held was like 10 inches long, dude. I
We
was
had
like,
we had that. We did have that. And then
damn, dude, loved that Voltron.
Voltron was a top one. G.I. Joe's a top one.
The Transformers, your Optimus Prime,
Transformer.
the metal Optimus Prime.
My
He had,
dad
like,
was
the
a
metal
truck driver. My
dice.
real father was a truck driver, so that was one that he got us.
Hell
was
yeah,
that
dude.
one? And I love Transformers. But as cool as my brother liked Megatron, so like he liked so
the Decepticons.
Decepticons, and
That's
I
how
like
my brother
Autobots.
was.
Yeah,
too,
so
he was way older.
Yeah, we were able to do that. So those were a couple of my favorite ones.
Yeah, Tyler had all the Star Wars because he was
we did
6.5 years older than me. So he had all the 6 Star Wars. He
Well-
had the Darth Vader case
Yep,
that like
we had
held
that.
them.
We had that.
He had the big Rancor from fucking Return of the Jedi.
So all 4 of us, because all 4 of us grew up
Love
as
that
brothers.
shit.
Me, my brother, cousin Chris, and cousin Timmy. Timmy's like 50 now. I'm 40. He's like 7 years older than me.
Yeah.
So we had all the toys. We would come together.
yeah, dude.
But we would spend more time setting up toys.
Yeah, you set up like
And then
massive
actually,
spectacles.
we would set up wrestling matches, whatever, and then it's like we would play for like 10 minutes, and it's just like no. And I'm still that way when you go to create a character on a game.
Yeah.
I'll spend more time creating a character.
Yeah, that's how our buddy Matt Allen is. We
Yeah.
call him Pause
Yeah,
Menu.
we call him pause menu.
Because he spends like in character creation and like he spends like time on his outfits and shit. He spends just as much time doing that shit as he does playing his fucking game.
It takes so long. Like with soccer, he'll be. It's like, where's Matt at?
he's
Oh,
getting his changing his boots. He's got to
Yeah,
put new
he's
soccer
gotta-
boots on.
Yeah, he wore those for a game. So now we got to wait 25 minutes until he decides what other ones he's going to do.
But what changed the toys for us was once Nintendo came out, and
Yeah.
then they made toys based off the video game,
Right.
Yeah.
Which
Right.
blew up even more.
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda toys, and then
Final Fantasy
Final
toys.
Fantasy.
They had like every
oh,
toys. Like
one of our
Ninja toys.
favorite also was Batman.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I had a
Like
lot of the
Batman
Batman
'88,
ones.
the Keaton Batman came out.
I had the big
Huge.
house, the house thing.
And
that had
Batmobile.
Yeah,
They're thinking about bringing that movie back out with Keaton 32 years later, but
Yeah.
that's beside the point. But Batman was huge.
Batman '88 was massive.
Yeah.
Absolutely massive.
Silverhawks. That was another one that came real quick, in and out. Like they were
GoBots.
just to sell the
GoBots.
cartoon.
GoBots were
Remember when
huge.
a family member would buy you a gift for like Christmas, birthday, or whatever, and they would buy the off-brand GI Joe or something,
Yeah.
and you
Like-
had to,
be like
and kids will
Army Joe or something was the name of it.
say, and,
Yeah.
when kids will say, we said whatever we want as kids. Kids still do this day, and they just pick, what is this? Like, oh, they said you like GI Joe. Well, this is not GI Joe, and then you're hurting this person's feelings because they don't know how to buy a proper toy.
Well, I mean, too, at that age, man, there were so many of them though. Like they
So
didn't know,
many.
like it's like now, like trying to tell your grandparents what which PlayStation do you want? I want
Yeah.
PlayStation 5. Oh, they got numbers behind them. Like,
Yeah.
it's like I don't
It's
know what this is. So you
confusing
got to
for those
send the
old
links
people.
to them and be
Yeah.
like,
That's
this,
why the
buy
Amazon card
this.
is great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Give me
gift
cash
cards are the
money,
shit.
baby. I'll buy my own gift, I mean, man, there were so many toys back in the day. I mean, just like, and they got plenty of toys now, but it seems like the toys now are just like,
The boys
not
played.
memorable.
The boys played with wrestling toys. That was a big part of their culture growing up, was wrestling toys. But other than that, they didn't really have. They didn't really get into anything. We would buy a wrestler a week or 2 wrestlers. They would go out and buy a wrestler a piece each week.
Yeah.
So they had almost 100.
I feel like all of the modern toy sales nowadays are
Aimed
being
at-
sold to adults.
aimed at
Yeah.
us.
I'm buying Legos, like I bought myself that
Legos
massive
were so
Lego
huge, yeah.
Rivendell set for Christmas, and I bought myself the new Lego D&D set that came out in April because I'm a big D&D guy, and I just felt obligated to get it, and I've been putting it together, and it's been great. But I mean, these sets are hundreds of dollars. No kid, no 10-year-old is spending $350 on a toy.
What was it? Funko. Funko was a bit. I know it's not a toy, but that's something.
Funko's the collectibles are big. It seems like all the kids are into more like collectible things. They're doing like the Pokemon cards. They've got card collectibles. I know like there's what they have like the minifigs for Legos are a huge collectible. They've got like
Wrestling figures are just as huge now as it was when we were kids
Yeah.
because now it's
used
about.
to do those mystery boxes. I know were like huge for kids.
Well,
but
with the wrestling, they got all the different leagues and stuff too.
Yep.
So
Yep.
they got they've got that to go.
I have
off of.
4 totes in my shed out there of ones from Attitude Era, like unopened.
I mean,
actually,
those are worth money.
There's
those old
one
toys.
There's one on the shelf over there that was sent out only if you bought the WrestleMania pay per view of Stone
Oh,
Cold Steve
nice.
Austin.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
So-
I remember those exclusives. Yeah. I mean,
Another thing for me too as a kid, where when it came to like they were doing so much of this and it confused me, but I was all in on it. Was like how they did like the Ghostbusters, and it was the real Ghostbusters. Like, hey, that doesn't look like Bill Murray. That doesn't look like Venkman, because it came out after the movies,
Right.
And then you're starting to realize that, like, yeah, it's just a property, and they can do whatever they want with
Right.
it. And they had different monsters. It was like a whole different kind of. It was good.
Right, but it was
I know
different
what
from
I
the
know what I'm
movies.
missing. Ninja Turtles.
Oh no,
Huge.
yeah, you're
Because
talking about the biggest.
You just said right there because
Huge.
Ninja Turtle stuff was a video game and also the cartoon turned into a movie.
Everything.
But then they
Everything.
start
The comics.
Then they start creating monsters that had nothing to wasn't with the comics, or
Wasn't from the
eventually it would
movies.
tie it in.
Yeah.
But it'd be like, oh my god, they have a new villain out
Yeah,
or whatever.
They were just like making random ass action figures.
Well,
you
and too,
had to
they
sell.
were and they were coming from the comics,
Right.
And so, if you didn't read the comics,
You had no
then because the comics changed. The early Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics were kind of mature,
Yeah.
And then they got into like, well, we can sell this to kids,
Yes.
And then you got the movies, and then you got the cartoon, and then then they would just take some action figures. Because I remember in the movies they would release character like enemies, and be like, who the fuck are
Yep.
these guys?
Yeah, you'd be like,
There's
"Who
no
the fuck
action
is that
figures,
guy?"
and then they come to new action figures for the movie.
Yeah.
It's not the Ninja Turtle cartoon ones; these are for this movie. This is for the
right.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
And that's
2.
when it really started going south. Really, is like they just started. It was a big, huge money.
Well,
grab.
I think too, though. I think it was just a confusing thing because, like, it's like that's not
was.
who that is.
Right.
That's not, so
then
like
that's when
kids
you
don't
run-
understand that.
you started
like,
seeing the knockoffs really bad,
Yeah.
like in the early and mid '90s too. That's when like all the stuff from China started coming in. You started seeing the fake GI Joes, the fake Transformers, like the fake Legos, like all that fake shit started coming in. And then the toys were just super diluted, and I feel like that's what killed off like your KBs and your Toys R Us's,
Yeah.
and the toy market in general. I mean, just fell off a fucking cliff in the '90s.
the one thing, going back to the question of one of my favorite toys. Do you guys remember Captain Power?
Yeah, the VHS game.
VHS game with the ships.
You put the
It's a laser.
VHS in, and you have like a blaster ship. Hell
Your guy
yeah!
was
Me and
in
my
there.
cousin
If you got
Josh,
hit, if one of the things hit
Yes.
it, the guy would eject out, and then you could do with each
Captain
other.
Fucking Power,
Yeah.
those VHS.
I ended up
games.
getting the villain, the black
Oh,
one.
bro.
And I think my cousin Mike, who lived a couple houses down, got the white one.
We
so
had
we
the
could play
white
together.
one.
And the VHSs actually worked decently.
They worked good.
Yeah, they weren't terrible for that time, but the show.
Some of them were, but
Right.
that Captain Power was fucking hot with the
that
VHS.
was such a mind blowing
Hell yeah.
idea.
That was
The
great technology. State-of-the-art
And the
shit.
show didn't make it. Like they had a big issues with the show. To where like they only had like 4 episodes. They kind of treated it like they did Firefly. Like they didn't know how to market it. They were putting
Right.
it on late at night or super early mornings where the people
Yeah.
it was aimed for is not up.
Right.
and
Right.
like and they had all
Yeah,
these
I
issues
love
with
that
money.
fucking Captain Power.
But they were
shit, man.
using in the show, like on the VHS stuff, they had green screen stuff. Remember, like the,
Yeah.
the villain robots, and
Yeah.
they were
Yeah.
like, and it's like
Yeah.
early CGI,
Yeah.
and it's
Early
like this
CGI.
is great. They had
Yeah.
live action acting. They actually had stories that went along with the game.
Yeah,
It was
you
crazy.
could only play it like 4 or 5 times though, because it was obviously like the same story though.
Right,
So
yeah.
You could only limited replay value, but the first fucking time you played that, dude, it
was
blew my
awesome.
mind to pieces,
and
dude.
those VHS style stuff. I remember there was a wrestling one.
There were
and
a
so
bunch of them.
There was this wrestling VHS game that we had, but it was wrestling from like Europe and stuff like that. So you didn't know any of the wrestlers, and you didn't know
yeah.
how to act. So what the game was is they would play the wrestling match and then pause it for a minute, and you had to guess the next move.
Oh, what they were gonna do is
Yeah.
gonna like throw him into the ropes.
Yeah,
Gonna DDT.
yeah,
him,
and it was,
you know,
and that was the game of it. And I mean, but the VHS game, like that idea, where the interaction, the interactive, bringing the arcade home
that
idea.
was wild. Well, that was they were trying to keep up. That was right when Nintendo and Atari and the
Yeah.
home video game system started
Yeah.
coming out, and all the home entertainment was really taking off.
Yeah.
Right then.
But I'm just thinking now, like TVs didn't have cameras then. They didn't like how the fuck did they do that? You
a
know,
lot
like
of hard work in a
like
studio, man.
with a VHS. Like I don't remember doing that with Laserdisc. You know, like that wasn't. But you were doing that with a fucking the same thing. I was recording cartoons on and stuff every Saturday.
Had
and
laser
movies.
tag. You have a laser
Yeah.
tag set of guns back in the day. We had like black ones that were all sleek looking, and then like you had this like
Yeah.
sensor
Yeah.
The
strap
best, yeah.
that you'd put on, and it had a thing right in the middle of your chest that was the sensor, and then you'd fucking like shoot those laser tag guns, and you could get hit a number of times, and it like start
It
vibrating.
was 3. I think it was 3.
I think 3 guns or
Yeah.
4 guns.
Yeah,
you
3.
got.
You got 3 shots. I think in the center.
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
so,
then again,
so
it's a kid-
mind blowing, man.
But then as a kid, we had a blow dart. So I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, I had a crossbow.
Lawn darts, man.
Had a
Talk
crossbow.
about the deadliest weapon of all time.
lawn
dude.
darts.
Like, here, have a huge fucking shuriken the size of your fucking,
With plastic
7
fins.
inches long with a steel sharpened
And each
tip.
one was 6 pounds, 7 pounds, and you're trying to lob that
You could
thing up.
throw that thing through 3/4 inch plywood.
Oh yeah,
Easy.
You would have
Easy.
You'd have that one family member go down to Tennessee. They'd come back with Ninja Stars.
Ninja Stars at the flea
Fucking
market.
An M80s.
Yeah, and then come back with a blow dart that's
Yeah.
like 5
So
foot
many
long.
weapons.
Yeah, and you knew
Yeah.
they went to Pigeon Forge.
Ninja
They were
Stars.
visiting Pigeon Forge. that
Found that flea
weekend.
market down Pigeon
Yeah.
Forge. How much you get for them Ninja Stars?
Yeah,
2 for
all kinds of
$5.
shit.
for
Now
$5.
don't tell your mom I gave you these.
Yeah,
Real wooden nunchucks
Yeah.
with a chain.
Yeah. Yeah.
buying all kind and all the different wrist
Ninjas were
rockets.
so huge in the 80s.
Yeah,
Oh.
Remember how huge ninjas were?
I would put
had
that on my-
ninja pajamas, like 5 sets
Yeah.
of ninja pajamas.
I would put that
growing
on
up.
my list of like the 3 things as a kid I was most terrified of was the Bermuda Triangle, rabid dogs, and quicksand. I would
Ninjas
put
3A.
ninjas. I would put ninjas on there too.
Oh yeah,
like,
and then somehow somebody in the family got the things that climb trees.
Or the hand claws
Yeah.
or whatever.
Somehow
Yeah.
that made it into
My
the family
brother,
rotation.
Tyler used to wear tabby boots. Just used to wear them. The ninja boots
Yeah.
with the toe.
Yeah,
He ordered like a set of tabby boots and would just wear them around.
because you can order them in the back
You
of
were
a,
in
like a
black
wrestling
jeans and
magazine.
tabby boots. Exactly. Yes.
You send it off, you don't know if it's showing up.
yeah,
Yeah.
you don't know what
Yeah.
you're doing.
He had like
I got a couple proofs of
he was
purchases
big
here.
in-
I'll send
he
in.
had ninja stars. I mean, of course, my brother's
Of
again
course
almost
he
7
did.
years older than me, so like he had all the dope.
Any weapon he could get his
Oh my
hand
god!
on.
Oh, he was friends with-
knives.
he
He,
was-
had that. He had the Rambo knife with the compass on the end.
Yeah, he
of
was
it.
friends-
Ooh, yeah.
And you had like he had like a garret inside of it, like one of those hand saws where you could like saw with the wire.
Oh, yeah.
and it had like waterproof matches in it.
What you got to remember is your brother was friends with Timmy. Timmy went down a path of
Yeah.
jail.
Yeah.
Timmy had the Rambo knife, and then so like, oh hey, there's matches in here.
Tyler and Tim were great friends.
Yeah. So somehow we'd have ninja stars, and then he's like, "Hey, I got this knife." I'm like, "Where'd you get the knife from?" It's like, "I don't know." You open up, and there's little matches for kids that he just handed it to us.
Yeah.
Here, go play with this knife.
Yeah, and then he would give us
different
the
time, man.
Then they put the foam on the nunchucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Like,
here,
that made
put
it
the
better.
bumpers on.
Yeah,
it.
Like that made it better.
Like
At least
you
it
still
won't
couldn't
break-
your
yeah.
arm. Yeah, you'd be
You
still
just have
bruising the shit out of
concussions.
you. Yeah, having big sickly yellow bruises from the nunchuck fights you'd be.
And
having.
everybody's like, "Well, why is your generation?" And I know I'm part of the generation right before you guys because when I was born, but we're all part of that same generation.
Yeah.
That's why we're indestructible. Someone's like, "How do you get to go to work every day?" Is like we survived going outside with people that had no business being around other kids.
Yeah,
like
dude.
my cousin should not have been around any younger kids.
yeah,
He was a terrible. I love him. He's a terrible person.
yeah, dude, it was wild. It was just like there were no rules. Like we were the last like guinea pig generation.
Yeah.
I felt like they're like, oh, like this generation did all of these things. Like fucking like the one thing that fucks me up is like you remember going to school, at least here in Seymour. I don't know how it is. I know American bathroom stalls in general are shit because they got huge gaps in them.
Yeah.
But there were never
Yeah.
toilet stall doors in any of the fucking
Oh
schools
no!
that I
Dropping,
went to.
dropping deuce for a crowd.
And now
man.
you go in and like they've got the big like European style closet motherfuckers that are fully enclosed.
Nothing's funnier than being at halftime.
You have to take a huge shit with the door open.
Yeah, during halftime at a basketball game.
Yeah.
One of my
Terrible.
BJ Sinclair, fan of the show,
love BJ.
Love
was
BJ.
taking a shit.
Yeah.
And Coach Pringy, obviously Principal Pringy now, was losing his mind at our effort. Sinclair was sitting there shitting. And while we're getting yelled at, and there's no door. I was like, how can I take this
It's serious.
Yeah.
game playing serious? Like, while
Well,
he's like,
BJ's
and I kept going.
Browns at the Super Bowl.
And then then Pringy threw a water bottle and blew up, and just blew up on him while he was sitting on the toilet. That's the way I remember the story. If I'm wrong, then Sinclair can tell us.
I heard a funny thing the other day about when you have to use the bathroom not at home. It's
Yeah.
called an away game.
An away game.
I thought that was pretty funny.
That's pretty
You guys remember Sky Commanders? Remember that toy
Sky
came out?
Commander?
It had the zip line stuff to them, and they had a little thing, the action figure hooked in this little shit, this little like
vest or something.
Yeah, and then there was a zip line. You could tie them, and they would zip line back and forth and stuff. It was really
I
short.
saw those.
That was another thing I really wanted, but it never.
were the
Remember Manimals, where they had the was it like the hieroglyphic like chest that would tell them the beasts or whatever? Was that or was that beast something?
I don't remember that. I know. Yeah, they had like glyphs on their chest that were
Yeah.
like holograms or something.
Yeah, and like it would tell you what beast they would
Yeah,
turn
what
into
the
or
fuck
whatever.
Were they
Yeah.
called Manimals? Is that what they were?
Manimals or beast masters
What
or something
were
like
those
that.
like kind of big? They weren't like Legos, but they were like bath toys or water toys that you could like put together, and they had like engines that ran on batteries and like big bubbles. You could make like floating fucking.
I don't remember
toys in
that.
those.
Sounds
What
dope
the
though.
fuck were those called? They had like these big plastic bubbles, and you put like AA batteries and had little engines in them, and you could like hook these pieces together, and it had like propellers, and you could build like little like kind of submersible vehicles and like water.
Really?
and shit.
That's cool.
They were rad as fuck. I forget what those were called. Like
I'm going through like a list of some
Connects or
stuff here.
stuff, or-
Creepy crawlers.
creepy
Yep.
crawlers.
I could still
What
remember
were
that
the
song.
finger monster puppets? Remember those like rubber finger monsters that were real big and collectible? Were those creepy crawlers? Is that what those
You
were?
mean the ones that the little plastic things you put on your finger?
on the
and-
end? Yeah, they were
Yeah,
like puppets or whatever, and they had a bunch of those. They were like
Those were a
monster
big hit
ones.
once I got to high school.
Yeah, yeah. I love those.
Just put them on the finger.
Yeah.
Multi-useful.
Yeah.
Bucky O'Hare came
Yes.
real hot. He
Yep.
had a lot of action figures. I had all those. That was he came out. That came out like right before one of my birthdays, and I remember that's all I just thought. I was like, I just want Bucky O'Hare stuff.
Yeah, I was big into the mask stuff. I didn't really collect toys as I got a little older. I got big into video games. As soon as video games come out,
Yeah.
I was done with the toys, dude. Didn't want any toys. Needed.
I
a
was
new
done
game.
except for I think wrestling. That was toys. That was it because Nintendo came out, Sega came out, and then
I was just.
yep.
I got big. I turned really nerdy young early. I got rid of toys. I got into video games. And I started reading books a bunch.
And then everything turned into sports. Like once
I was a huge nerd. I
fifth,
did
sixth grade
play
hit, then
sports.
everything was based around
I was
video
really
game
fat.
sports.
I was that fat nerdy kid when I was little, man. I didn't get like skinny until I hit like puberty in high school.
Yeah, I mean,
got
I'm-
really tall.
I
And then-
remember I would just be in. I'd play video game until I got killed and have to start over, and then I'd go outside and
Yeah.
play some sports. And
Amen to
whatever.
that. Like
Yeah, and it's
I
like-
just
and
spent an
then-
hour and a half on this level and I died. Or you died three
Mad.
times in a row. You're like, I'm done.
And that's another thing I think with our generation growing up with those games. Like we learned how to deal with disappointment.
Oh yeah, you try to play the.
Like-
you only play Battletoads so long
Yeah,
before your
we
will
were
is
humbled.
destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, the one turtle video game where you
Yeah, the
Oh
first
my
Ninja,
God,
yeah,
bro.
the water level, Ninja
All
Turtles.
of those fucking old games, like the Friday the 13th game, unbeatable, man. So
Yeah.
you can't like the Goonies game, like all of those games were so hard, and they didn't have just like continues. Like you
Yeah.
had to play that whole fucking game on like a life. You couldn't, or you just leave your game on and hope it didn't like fuck up.
Yep.
Or you
and
had
turn off.
and to find out like how to do certain stuff, you had to hope somebody's older cousin knew how to do it.
Yeah, be like,
or
call
wait
him,
for
man. Call
wait
him
for
up.
Nintendo
Be like,
Power to
call
come
him on the
out.
phone. Be like,
Yeah,
tell him how to
like-
figure
or
this
try to
out.
get your mom to take you to Walmart so you could read the magazine
Yeah.
that the walkthrough.
Yes.
Yeah, I just need 15 minutes real quick.
And you're
Go to
taking
Walmart.
notes?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you taking notes.
And she's like, you don't even do this for homework. What,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
because the save codes on like that Nintendo were like 20-digit
Yeah.
characters you'd have to write
And they
down.
didn't always work.
Yeah,
know?
because you'd miss one. Be like, oh, I got an uppercase P instead of a lowercase.
Yeah.
Is that a D? Is that a
But
Q? What is that?
Our gaming little area where the TV was at and stuff. There was always a little piece of paper,
Hey, I
like
had a
notework.
paper,
yeah,
man.
because
Had
you had to
to,
write shit
man.
down. But
Hell yeah, dude. I love those old games, man. I mean, those old toys are, the old Star Wars toys, crazy money. All G.I.
Yeah.
Joes, Barbies, crazy money. Transformers, crazy money. Like the video games now, like a sealed Chrono Trigger for Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
it's like $900.
yeah, they're. I mean, that's the thing too.
That's
I forgot how
crazy.
expensive Nintendo games were. For $80 growing up. You know,
Well,
It's
and
like
then-
That's why you only got one a year. at
Yeah.
They're
Christmas.
great in video games that are not in a. They're great in video games
Yeah.
too.
yeah,
Which
yeah,
is
They're
CS
grading
open, yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
I think it's CSG that
Yeah.
grades them, but yeah, you can get some nice
Everything.
ones inbox sealed, like Mario 64 inbox sealed 9.5 went for almost $1 million.
$1 million.
Zelda
Yeah.
did too. The
Yeah.
Zelda, but it was the
$1 million
Zelda from
game.
Japan that never came over.
Yeah.
Still in the box. It was almost $1 million.
Yeah, like you
That's
get
crazy.
some of those that are like they're the only one.
And we tore those boxes open like it
Yeah,
was.
Yeah.
that's why they're so
And threw 'em
expensive,
away.
man. That ephemera, bro.
I mean, just
like,
to buy the box. Like there's people who I know collect video games. a guy I used to do Toasty with back in the day and did some acting and shit. He was a director and editor and stuff, Chris. And he collects video games. He's collecting his video game collection is incredible. Huge. And he's got some games that didn't have the box, and then you have to go buy the box just to buy, and like the price,
crazy.
And it's like,
That's
and
crazy.
it's just
Games, man.
it was wild.
Think about the genius person who bought one to go and one to show.
Yeah,
right. Like I'm gonna buy 2 Zeldas original or 2
man.
Nintendos. Never
the
open
foresight
it.
to do that,
or
man.
the guys
It's
who
crazy.
had the stores that were selling toys and stuff, and then when they closed down, they had a bunch of Nintendo games in boxes sealed that they just had in the attic, and then their grandkids find them 2 years ago, and it's like, oh shit.
They said when the video barn closed, they had 2 copies of that old track and field testing game.
Yeah.
And they said that they sold that. That was in the 90s before gaming was even huge when Video Barn sold. They said they sold those for big money to somebody. And those are now, there's only like 6 of them known to exist, and they supposedly had 2 of them.
Wow.
Well, I think that's too. It's like that's why we were talking about where are the toys at today, and I mean you get into like the McFarlane Batman series, that
those
action figures
die-cast
that are expensive.
Minis are crazy.
So like all the
man.
toy companies that
They're
were doing
so
action
beautiful,
figures
though.
just went with us. They're like, we're gonna stick with these guys. Like we
Yeah.
already like spent millions of
We got
dollars
expendable
burning it
income
in.
now.
That's
We're
right.
adults.
Well,
you know?
I mean the amount of money in branding and marketing they spent to propaganda our brains. It's
Yeah.
like we might as well just stick with these guys.
Right.
We've got these guys. Like
sure.
The only toy that was cross generational was Nerf guns.
always,
And then all
they're
this-
sick now,
Dude, it
Like,
was
I'm
great.
jealous
Like
now.
when the boys, that was 03, 04,
Gatling
05.
gun,
Oh,
Nerf and
everything.
shit.
It was like 07, 08, 09. Like all of a sudden we were just buying crazy
That's
guns.
when that's when they started doing contracts with like Fortnite and
Yep.
other companies, so they would do these replica style guns
Yeah.
and like.
Let me ask you
man.
guys one question about Nerf. Why is it that every mini, like Nitro Nerf football in the entire universe all has a bite taken out of it?
know, man.
Why do the intrusive thoughts always win? Every
Yeah.
fucking Nerf football I've ever seen, someone has bitten that motherfucker.
I have one in the back.
Someone's bitten it.
I have the spiral one in the backyard right now.
yeah.
Now I'm really intrigued.
Go. I
Yeah.
bet if we went and got it right now, there'd be fucking bite marks in that. Is
I
it got the whistle on it? Remember the whistle
Yeah.
boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it had the
They keep-
whistles.
yeah.
That
on
made
it.
every kid think he was a quarterback.
Oh yeah. Look at that
yeah.
spiral.
I mean, like, I mean, you could not. Throw
Yeah,
a
you could
spiral.
not.
You could throw that thing sideways and it turned into a spiral.
I
Like,
know
It's
when
designed
we-
for Lamar's limp-wristed throwing style.
when we when we always had them, we would always tear a little bit out so you can get your finger down in it. So
Yeah,
you get a
dude.
better grip. So we always had some torn out of it just for grip reasons. But there was always a tooth mark.
There was
And it's
somebody
like
bit
somebody
that
wanted to
bitch.
try it. It's
Somebody
like,
bit that bitch.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Every Nerf football
It
I've
was
ever
lawless.
seen in my
We
night.
already said that it was
Listen,
a different time.
Speaking of lawless, the last thing I have on it is the last toy that I remember getting as a gift from Gatlinburg was a boomerang.
Sweet. Hell yeah.
did you ever
Probably
get it
didn't
to
work. Was
work?
it one of
No.
the triangle ones, or was it like the actual
It was
U
like
one?
it was made out of basically like particle board.
Yeah, it's like balsa
Yeah.
wood, really
Yeah, balsa
light.
wood. It wasn't going to come back,
No.
but it was just a pure weapon.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
just
hurt.
throw it at
Oh,
somebody.
it
Yeah.
hurt. You
Yeah.
can mess something up. You ain't getting.
Like
You gotta
the-
go chase
the
it down.
Three-pronged like boomerangs, those work really well.
Yeah.
Like the 3 with 3 blades, they look like a ceiling fan. Or
But it would-
whatever.
Well, they
It-
did that so they would actually, and then they
so
sold
they'd
us
work.
bullshit ones.
Yeah,
Then
you
it-
get those old blue, those
Yeah.
old wood.
It said
boys.
Gatlinburg with a Confederate flag on it. Y'all come back now.
Welcome to Pigeon Forge. Has got like the Smokies like burned
Yeah.
into it.
It was Dollywood.
Yeah,
We popped 3 balloons.
I love that shit. That's
yeah, and you
so
just would
fun,
try to,
bro.
and that's the thing too. Is,
What
man,
about
we didn't
BB
have
guns?
like YouTube and stuff
BB
to look
guns.
up.
Everybody had BB guns. in
Yeah, the
Indiana.
Red Riders.
I mean,
And you had to, and when you did the BB gun fights, you had to limit the
R.I.P.
pumps.
pigeons in my
You know?
fucking neighborhood. Once I got that gun, I killed every fucking bird in the neighborhood, bro.
Once again, let's go back to your childhood one day.
Yeah, we had.
Every like a holocaust of pigeons in
He's
my
up there
fucking
smoking a heater at
neighborhood.
9 years old, scoping
Yeah,
stuff
out the
like
window.
Listen, I'm like Simo Haya, the fucking
Yeah.
sniper. Like, listen, I got 2-mile-an-hour crosswind. That's 2 meters left.
He's got Apocalypse Now playing in the background, man.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Smells like victory. Kill them pigeons, boy.
Yeah,
I
man.
love the smell of pigeons, feathers flying in the morning.
So good. It was nuts.
dude.
Yeah, I have, man. I remember I was 11 when I got my
Hell
first
yeah.
compound bow.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause
We-
I was
bows
in
and
Boy
guns.
Scouts and stuff. We
I
were
got my
doing
first 22 rifle. I think I was 11 or 12.
this. Yeah, I got.
And then we had
mine were
the
young.
handgun BB gun that looked like a
real
A
gun.
pistol took the CO2 cartridges or whatever. The
And then they had the
canisters.
6-shooter.
Yeah. You remember the
We're
one
just
the
running around the
cap gun?
neighborhood. Real
yeah,
guns.
yeah, just running around the
Looking like
neighborhood.
real
We're playing
guns.
cops and robbers as you're putting windows out and shit.
Yeah, dude. My fucking cousin, tried to shoot out my neighbor's window, and I got he blamed it on me. He was staying over with me and like shot out my neighbor's window with the BB gun. Like you could look.
Well, when you
and,
have
like,
a reputation of doing
shot
shit like
through
that,
multiple panes of glass with this BB gun, and then if you just looked through the hole, it went directly to my bedroom window on the second floor.
There was so
it got
many.
you on the angle.
Dead, dude. Like
Yeah.
it's like the Zapruder film for the Kennedy assassination. No magic bullet here. Like it obviously came from that fucking window.
You know how many glass companies are pissed that the sales of BB guns have declined
Yeah,
since the 80s and
Like
90s?
we were making killing
Because you would go everywhere and be like, "Oh, it's a BB shot. That's a BB shot."
Stop signs would have
They
them.
were fucking
Oh, yeah.
everywhere, dude.
Yeah, just find anything you could shoot with them, and and
Everywhere.
then try to find the BB if you could, so you could reuse it.
And there was one kid always had one in his shin that won't come out.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
see
or
what
his
happened?
palm
Like
or
right here. I got
something. Like, look at that, my fucking cousin shot
Yeah,
me with
it
it.
didn't come out till their senior year. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, the BB finally, the skin pushed the BB out finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
Damn.
doing. Yeah, we did 10 paces in the backyard. Turn around, and you're just like, "What?"
Yeah, 10 paces, only 2 pumps. And we had guys in the neighborhood that were not sticking with the 2 pumps. Like you could feel it. It's like, oh, that's not 2.
Yeah,
that's a
like,
5.
that's a
that
5,
shit's
yeah.
in the skin. That shit hurts.
Like digging it out.
Could you
of it.
imagine if we had paintball guns when we were like
Oh, yeah.
in the 80s and 90s?
Our
Oh my
neighborhood
God.
would have been,
It would have been
covered in
tie-dye.
paint.
It would have been tie-dye.
Yeah, every
Because we had
tree.
no cameras, no door
Nothing.
rings,
Yeah.
no social
Nothing.
media.
Nah.
It would just been like, what are these kids doing?
Just
Yeah.
bedlam.
And
Complete
that's the
bedlam.
thing is, I would get up in the morning and be gone till the street lights come on, and no adult ever asked me, well, what'd you do today?
Yeah, they
You
knew
know,
what you did. You were
like,
out
it's
raising
like-
hell.
We'd always
They
say-
were just happy we made. Oh,
yeah, they were just
still
happy
alive?
you were home. You
Awesome.
didn't get
Cool.
arrested. Like had to make a television commercial. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
This is what it was. What'd you do?
10 p.m. That blows my fucking mind.
My mom would be like, "What did you guys do today?" I don't know. All right, you guys ready to eat?
You hungry?
Yeah.
Eat this
nothing.
food.
Played.
What's the favorite quote? No one's bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got all your fingers.
You got
in
all
it?
your fingers and
Yeah.
toes. You're all right.
Why'd you wear those brand new jeans?
Yeah.
You wore your damn new street clothes out to play in the grass today?
You know how much those Levi's cost? That's 3 checks.
Yeah. You're not getting another pair.
No,
You're just gonna
you
wear
won't wear
them
them every day.
gonna have to
You're
wear
supposed to
them.
wear
You'll
those
like
for
'em.
Easter Sunday, God.
Yeah. Well, then you're just going to be the dirty one.
Man, another underrated toy that got mad, was cheap as hell, and was probably super popular in Indiana is like the mini Papa Shot hoops in like your basement or your
Yeah.
room or
Yeah.
something you put on your door.
The
You
Nerf-
play
the
in
Nerf- the Nerf
basketball, the little
goals.
Nerf ball.
I had the
goals.
Jordan Jammer.
The Dwarf Jammer.
with
Yep.
like the breakaway rim on it.
Oh my God, we would.
Fuck that
I bought the
thing up,
boys
dude.
one, a version of it, and the boys would just beat that. It was
Yeah.
so much fun to watch.
It was absolute full contact, high elbows,
Yeah.
and like
Benny
the
and I
room on
get
the
into it
carpet.
with
Oh
his,
my
man.
God, it's absolute lawlessness.
Oh yeah,
with
you
that
would.
shit.
We would have one like on door, and as kids, we'd be wrestling. There's no.
Be, like,
Yeah, you
falling
going-
through
yeah.
the door and like
Speaking of companies
knocking
being
holes
mad, I
in
mean, the
it.
door companies, the amount of those cardboard doors we went through playing
No
that fucking
doubt.
game.
Those
Bro.
Illuminati of the
Yeah.
door and window people.
Yeah, it's a big door, big windows.
Garage people, like, man, none's getting broke no more.
We need to
Love
get
those
these kids
mini
fired up so they
hoops,
start
bro.
breaking shit.
No one's setting fire to their
yeah.
carpets, nothing anymore.
Man, love toys. And
Once
games.
parents stop smoking in the house, like no more burns and carpets and upholstery, nothing.
Yeah. I got mad board games back in the day. I used to get board games for like
Yeah.
every year for
They were great.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Scattergories, Pictionary.
I had a game. Speaking of my
Clue.
favorite game, I can't even remember the name of it, but it came and had a mat, and then there was a helicopter thing set up, and there was this helicopter that you could fly around, and it came in a circle
Oh,
around the
yeah.
map.
Yeah,
and you
what
could
the
pick
fuck
things up, and,
was
and each
that?
thing was worth points.
Yeah, what
That was one of my
that
cool
game? It
presents
was on
I
like a
got.
hard wire.
Yeah,
that
and it was
thing,
like a
and you
thing.
could like drop a little thing from the
Yeah, it
helicopter
had a
and pick
hook
shit
on it,
up.
and you would try to
What
pick things
was
up as you're
that?
swinging around. That thing could get going fast.
Yeah,
dude, if you
because
just
that's why
held
you'd
it to
always
the right.
break it. Yeah, you'd always break it
That
because
thing
you try to
accelerated.
get that. Yeah, like come on, Concorde,
Yeah.
Mach 10.
Yeah,
Let's go.
and everything you could pick up. There was different shit from different
That's
heights and
sick.
stuff because it would
I forgot
move
all
up
about
and
that
move
shit.
down. It was an incredible
Just like
toy.
the game Mousetrap, you'd set up like the whole Rube Goldberg. Never
Yeah.
play the fucking game
No.
Mousetrap once in my
No,
life.
I don't know the rules.
I just set up the fucking game, be like, all right, you ready? Let's fucking hit it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's cool.
The
No, I don't know the
big-ass
rules.
Rube
yeah.
Goldberg machine
That's
on
your
Mousetrap.
absolute. I just realized when you said that. I don't think I'd know the rule.
Never
played it,
Mousetrap.
but I always
Had the
set
game.
the gadget up.
I had that game. Never fucking played
No.
it. Just set that fucking.
That's
I
so
saw down at the flea market down the road here in Greenwood. I was with AP. I thought we found the original Operation game in the
yeah.
box, and it wasn't in there because that game you didn't even care about. You didn't even care about getting the stuff out. You almost wanted to get a little like,
shock.
Yeah.
Shock
Oh,
me.
yeah,
Let's stick my
yeah,
finger in
you
there.
did, you did. Oh, I
Uh.
remember the first time we went to someone's house and their parents had the muscle fucking
Oh.
shocker thing. Oh God.
Like the cramp machine.
Oh yeah, put that
thing.
on your neck. I dare you. Yeah, I mean, it was a night of
I
entertainment.
used to
It's
put like the dog shock collars.
Oh,
on my
yeah.
my dog Damon had a dog shock collar at Freetown. We
Yeah,
got fucking wasted out there and took it off and put it on like fucking somebody. It was,
yeah,
like,
I
running
did it
through the
one
fucking
time. That shit
fence with
hurts.
It hurts.
That's
fucking bad, man.
They have that
Hurts.
new. They have the new Bengay thing now where you can do it, put it on your back or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I slapped that on someone at work on high while they're on the phone on a phone conference trying to lead the. They were trying to lead a phone conference.
Are you stuttering?
That
Yeah.
is Brilliant, bro.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And that was that. I think too. We're talking about this earlier with Seymour being proud. I mean, I'm happy for the generation we grew up into because I think it was. We really created a lot of our own entertainment,
Had
and we
to.
survived it.
Had to, man.
And
So fucking boring in Seymour, dude. You had to
it
make
was
your
just
own
so much
entertainment.
fun, though. I think it was being the lawlessness and just going out. But I also think we matured quicker because of that. We were kind of on our own, and since our
Yeah.
parents are out working, trying to fucking because that was a time
No
at that-
oversight. You had to
Right.
figure it out.
because that was like we're saying was we were being as a kids being marketed constantly, so there's constantly consumerism is picking up, and so our parents are trying to keep up with this shit.
yeah.
And all they know is like I got
gotta
to
get
work.
money, I gotta get
I
the-
gotta get to work and pay these bills and make sure that my kid
Yeah.
gets some stuff that they want.
Gets
know,
the G.I. Joe with the kung fu.
and has a
grip.
better life than I had, kind of idea. And so, but yeah, so no wonder they weren't wondering what we were doing and
They
stuff
didn't
like
give a
that.
fuck.
It's
They
like
were
it's
worried about
just
making
like-
that paper.
just
Yeah, for
making sure we were taken
They
care
were
of.
sucking down coffee and cigarettes to get through a 16, 18-hour day.
Yeah.
No
So
doubt.
we love
no
you,
doubt.
parents, for doing that.
Yeah,
we
shut-
appreciate
yeah,
that.
man. I had a killer child.
We had fun because of the generation we were in, but we had fun because of the parents we had
Hell
too.
yeah.
They allowed us to do that.
I mean, yeah, I was pretty spoiled fucking growing up. I mean, I can only speak for myself. I had a fucking ton of toys and video games and shit.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had
I mean,
everything out.
My family was broke because of me.
I was spoiled. Fucking
I would
rotten.
just steal from the rich kids.
So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up now. I think that was fun. That was a good
Yeah,
good
man,
talk.
we could go on about toys and games
we
all
will,
fucking day,
too.
dog.
We'll
yeah, we
talk
didn't even
about them
talk
again
about video
sometime.
games or anything really.
But
We
that
could
was
go on
just
for
one thing I
days.
noticed looking at what my kids.
Yeah.
They just don't have that same thing when it comes to the Happy Meal toys and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
and
something
they
I
don't.
wish
They
I
don't.
could
It's not
share
like they
with that.
miss it or even know.
No,
they
because they
give
don't
a
know what they
shit.
miss. Yeah, because it's not there anymore.
But it's just
they
one of
have
those
their own
things that I've
now.
noticed. It's like the change of times, and it's not necessarily good or bad. It's just the change of times. And that I've picked up on with being a father.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoyed those toys back in the day, man.
For sure, man. They're a big part of our lives.
Six-piece
and that's
nugget.
why they're so big money now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people are trying to, capture that nostalgia and
Yeah.
buy the toys that they couldn't afford when they were
Yep.
younger, if they were poor or whatever. So that's why it's big business now.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. Love that nostalgia factor.
Do too. I do too.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, we appreciate you guys as always. Thanks for listening.
Always good
Thanks
to
for,
join us.
Joining us for your hours. Hopefully, we got you through your drive or got you through the boring part of your day. Give
Catch
you
us
something
on
to
the
talk
next
about.
one.
But yeah, let us know what we missed because of course there's things to miss.
Tell
but
us about your favorite toys.
Yeah,
or
what was your
VHS
favorite toys
games?
and
Did you
stuff?
play Captain Power? Did
Yeah.
you actually play Mousetrap?
Yeah, do you know the rules of Mousetrap?
Yeah, tell
You
us
know?
the rules to Mousetrap. Is there free parking there? Do you
Yeah.
put 500 in free parking
Yeah.
in Mousetrap?
That's something we should talk about. Is
Your Monopoly house rules?
Yes,
Yeah, we should get into that.
Because Monopoly, you talking about lawless. Monopoly is lawless.
100%.
Great game, though. I think
punches thrown in families over
man.
games of Monopoly.
It's got to be. It's easily in the top 3 board game of all time, right?
Great game.
It's got to be.
Great game.
But yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Catch you on the flippity flip,
Peace.
y'all. Later.